Поднимите руку, кто меня не
Please
видит.
raise your hands, those who cannot see me.
Ну, пересядьте чуть-чуть.
You should move a little.
Еще кто? Есть?
Who else?
Должны видеть друг друга. Вам надо
We
тоже
must
как-то
see each other.
подвинуться, пересесть.
Please move your chair a little bit.
Давайте сейчас все, кто меня не видит, они
Everyone who
должны
cannot
как-то
see me,
стулья
please
подвижные.
move.
Можно сесть поближе.
You can sit
Или как-то еще,
closer.
я не знаю, то есть, ну, попытайтесь как-то
Do your best
сделать
to
так, чтобы вы меня
see
увидели.
me.
Потому что иначе будет
Otherwise,
слабая.
this lecture is not effective.
Такая специфика лекции, что нужно
This
видеть.
lecture is like this. We must have contact. We must see each other.
Вот смотрите,
Now look,
я приехал
I
сюда,
came here
и
and
стойки нет.
there is no microphone stand.
Что это значит?
What does it mean?
Это значит? Нет,
No,
это не значит.
that is not
Это
stress.
значит, что нужно немножко
That means
душевных
I
сил
should
побольше
make a
использовать
bigger
для того, чтобы
effort
быть
to be
счастливым.
happy.
Но если я хочу
But if I
наслаждаться
want
этой
to
ситуацией,
enjoy
если я
here,
хочу здесь
if
радоваться жизни,
I want
тогда будет
to
стресс.
enjoy my life, then I will be
Понятно,
stressed.
да? То есть одно
Do you see
дело
that?
внутреннее желание,
Inner desire
чтобы все
to
были счастливы,
make
дает
everyone
возможность мне
happy
победить
is one
ситуацию,
thing,
потому что
and it
ситуация
allows me to
была
overcome this
предопределена.
situation.
Она должна была быть такой.
The situation was supposed to be like this.
Вот. А
And
правильное отношение дает
the
счастье.
other thing is
Счастье может
correct
быть
attitude.
или возникает
It gives happiness.
легко в
Happiness
жизни,
either comes
или
easily
возникает
in life
труднее.
or it comes hard.
Но мы не должны рассчитывать на
But
то,
we
чтобы
should
было
not
легко.
count on
Тогда
things
будет
to be
счастье.
easy. Then happiness comes.
Согласны?
Do you agree with me?
Так у нас сегодня важная
So
трудная
today's
тема.
topic is difficult and
Знание может
important.
быть основано на разных
Knowledge can be
основах.
based on different things.
В современном обществе в
In the
основном
modern
всегда
society,
знание основывается на
knowledge
каких-то
is
исследованиях.
mostly
Но
based
так как
on
исследования
research.
проводятся, ну сколько
But
они могут
as
проводиться? Ну 20, 30 лет
research can
максимум.
be conducted
То
for 20 or
вероятность того,
30
что это
years
знание
tops,
совершенно очень маленькая.
there is little
Я
chance
решил
that
пойти
this
другим
knowledge
путем.
is
Я
perfect.
взял знание, которое
I
уже
chose
существует
another
5000
path.
лет.
I took knowledge that has
Вот. И начал
existed for
изучать. Ну, вот чем
5,000
люди жили
years
тогда,
now.
в ту эпоху.
How did people live
И
back then?
это я начал делать 20
I
лет
started
назад.
my studies
И
20 years ago,
я увидел,
and
что это знание очень
I saw
глубокое,
that
очень
this
глубокое.
knowledge is
И
extremely
оно
deep,
практичное.
and
То
it
есть,
is very
в основном у нас
practical.
бытует мнение, что
Mostly we think
в
that
древней культуре
in ancient
вот
culture,
жили такие
such
полухвостатые
creatures
существа,
with
такие,
tails lived,
вот, и как бы
and they were very primitive,
каменный век там и так далее.
Stone Age and things like
Но
that.
вот мои изучения,
But my studies were full of pleasant surprises.
например, язык, на
For
котором
example,
говорили 5000 лет,
The
настолько сложный,
language that was spoken 5,000 years ago is so sophisticated.
примерно 10 лет.
Now it takes about 10 years to study ancient Sanskrit. There are 70 letters,
Там
difficult
К,
pronunciation.
то есть даже К одной буквы, там
Even
по
one
несколько
letter K
произношений
has
каждой буквы
different
надо
variations.
еще языком учить, уметь
You
говорить.
must learn to
Вот.
work with your
Но
tongue
не самое, это не
to
самое
pronounce it.
интересное. Самое
But it is
интересное
not the most
заключается в том,
interesting
что
part.
те вот,
The most interesting
писания,
part
которые
is that
написаны на санскрите,
the
они
scriptures
имеют
written
одну
in
особенность. Их нельзя
Sanskrit
поменять,
have one
потому
peculiarity.
что
They cannot
у
be
них такой
altered
безупречный стиль,
because the
что
style is so
если ты
perfect
меняешь одну букву,
that if
то
you change
санскритолог
one
легко
letter,
определяет, что там есть
then
какая-то подмена.
a
Там
Sanskrit
есть
scientist can
определенные
easily see
ритмические и
that.
логические
There are
закономерности, кроме
rhythmical
смысловых.
and
И
logical patterns,
могущество интеллекта
and
этих людей определяется
the
не
power
только
of
этим. Я не
intelligence
буду
of these
говорить
Asian
об их
people
предсказаниях,
is
которые сбываются.
defined
Я
in
не
many
буду
other
говорить
ways.
о том,
I'm not going to speak about their
как они
predictions that come true.
описывают Вселенную,
I'm
в
not
том
going
числе
to tell you
Солнечную
about
систему, один к одному с тем, что мы уже
universal
знаем,
structure
плюс
and the
тысячи
solar
вещей,
system
которые мы не знаем,
description.
там уже описаны.
There are 1,000 things we
Можно
do
было
not
бы не
know
сильно
that are
напрягаться,
written
просто
in the
поизучать
Vedas.
все это и
We
много
do not
чего
have
узнать о
to
себе.
make useless efforts. We can just read
Я
the
просто вам
scriptures
приведу
and learn a
пример
lot.
нескольких
I will tell you a few
шлок, то есть
shlokas,
стихотворных
these
соединений,
verses
которые
You can see the power of intelligence of this language and people, because there are shlokas that you can read forward and backward, and the meaning remains very deep. You can even read them on the cross, from the top and from the bottom. Each line has its meaning. We cannot compose such verses, it is impossible. Ingenious people compose this, and each verse has such a deep meaning that it can be studied your whole life. One great saint studied Mahabharata and said there were 10 layers of depth. Just imagine it. And now, based on this ancient language, this knowledge, I study seriously a human psyche as a science. As of 2 years ago, I am a doctor of medicine. I have a doctoral thesis, and I took ancient medicine as the basis, and I started my research very seriously. I discovered some regularities. For example, in a subtle psychical body, both humans and plants have a similar structure, and things that cause our diseases and the same difficulties in plants' psyche have a healing effect, and it is even stronger in trees. Trees are stronger than humans, unlike plants. And gradually, all that is said in the scriptures became clear to me. It became clear what these psychical layers are that our organs are connected to and how they work. I test people every day by their pictures now, and based on tables that we have developed, we select herbs, spices, bark, and roots. It's a new method. We treat with tree roots now. And it is science. And being so, we can prognose our mistakes. If there is a mistake and the treatment does not work, we find it in parameters, we correct it, and there is health improvement. It is all scientific, not like we guess and it helps you. Ancient medicine works with our mental body, subtle body of our mind. We use gems, spices, herbs, and different components to treat people, and they have different force. For example, roots have fire force, bark has cleansing force, herbs have calming effect, spices activate your digestion, oils warm you, give you optimism and strength and ability to work. Each remedy has its effect, its force. But similarly, just like spices, herbs and roots can be remedies, the same way sound can be. Because there is a certain part of our psyche meant for sound, and that part decides matters of our life. It is called intelligence. And just imagine, in ancient Russian culture, the subtle structure of a human was also known, because all parts of our psyche are reflected in the Russian language. For example, who can tell the difference between mind and intelligence? It's about the same. But what is the difference? A smart man invents a nuclear bomb, and an intelligent one keeps it silent. You must have listened to my lectures. No, the answer is correct.
Итак,
So let me tell you about the Vedic concept of mind. Mind is our psychical frame. We know that mind thinks and there are emotions and moods in it. It is right. But these are the most superficial functions. Mind is our psychical frame. In other words, there is a structure. There are channels called nadis, and there are tens of thousands of them. But there are three major nadis. Sushumna nadi, it goes along our spinal cord, and it is the basis of our living. Life force is collected in that channel. And on the sides from it, there are two psychical channels that define our gender. On the left side there is Ida Nadi, it is female, and on the right side Pingala Nadi, male. These three channels are connected directly to our soul. Soul is the self. It is situated in the area of our heart. It is tiny. It is the size of an atom. The soul never dies, it is eternal. The soul connects to the gross body through the subtle body. Our subtle body, psychical body, is also material. It is not spiritual. But the soul has its own spiritual psyche. There are spiritual traits of character. And these spiritual traits interact with subtle matter, and so our subtle or psychical body appears. But as matter is different, our spiritual body is under influence of eternal time that makes our happiness increase with each moment. We believe that tomorrow is going to be better than today, because we are souls. Soul has its happiness increasing all the time in spiritual space, but in material space, there is material time that makes happiness decrease. A person is born and a body starts to age immediately. The baby develops, but it does not get any younger. It is interesting that gross body ages, and our subtle or psychical body has changes according to our actions and desires. And so the subtle body can either age, so fatigue and age stresses will be accumulated, or it can rejuvenate, meaning it becomes cleaner and lighter and more elevated. As our psychical or mental body is responsible for functioning of the gross body, it gives it energy. It is important to have a healthy mental body. And for that we must do good deeds and have right desires. Raise your hands, those who understand nothing. That's good, we're moving on. There are questions at once. I will answer to you, but not right now. I can tell you that right desires give you harmony with this world and make everyone happy, and wrong desires destroy everything around and give misery. Wrong, bad desires appear and they feel like right, but that feeling comes from misconcept of happiness. The Vedas say that we have another structure in our mental body that make us feel that we exist. This is called ego. And Ego has two ways of functioning. One is living and getting filled with knowledge, and the other is living and having your understanding of things, or ignorance. Because knowledge comes from elders, from scriptures and saints, but inside us there is also this feeling, I know it myself, I like it, I want it to be this way. It is called false ego. There is a true ego and false ego. Ego drives us in this life and it makes a person act in a certain way. True ego gives happiness because it is based on correct understanding of things and knowledge, and false ego makes us miserable because it is based on self-interest dictated by our desires. The Vedas say that there are two forces that make us act. The first one is our desires. I want. And the second one is intelligence. Intelligence is more subtle and deep than mind. More subtle bodies give energy to grosser bodies. For example, mind gives energy to the nervous system. To be precise, it gives mental energy and it fills the nervous system. Once I asked my physiology professor at the university, why does a person live? He said, because our heart works and it makes blood circulate. He was a nice person, he answered to my questions. And then I asked, why does the heart beat? The nervous system makes it. I asked, and what gives energy to the nervous system? Why does it function? And he said, you want to know too much. But I did not want to. I wanted to heal people, to learn how to. The Vedas say that the nervous system receives mental energy. But then there is a question, what is mental or psychical energy and how can we feel it? For example, is it stuffy for you here? Raise your hands for whom it is. There is one person. And who feels fresh? If you feel fresh, you have enough mental energy. And if you feel stuffy, then you lack it. Raise your hands like this. Don't be scared. We are studying now. You came here to my lecture. Don't be scared. Look at me closely. Breathe deeper. Is it getting fresher in the hall? It is? You are sure? And who else is fresher now? You must have also meditated on hands. This is called pranayama. Prana is mental energy, and yama, exercise. When we do it, we become fresher. And also you feel fresh if you eat a fresh apple. But if you take an apple juice, it has less prana. Prana is there in whole cells. It is in active, optimistic breathing. If I start breathing now optimistically, you can even feel the wind, because prana movement is like wind. Now there is going to be a fan right behind me, or not, but the energy will start flowing. Do you feel it? It is fresher now? No? Who is not fresher? Raise your hands. Hands up.
Вам стало свежее? Вот женщина.
Is it better now?
Да. Не стало, знаете почему?
No,
У вас очень много
because
огня в
you have a lot of fire in your body. You have high blood pressure.
Вам надо заниматься пранаямой.
You should do
Пранаяма
pranayama.
означает дыхательные
It
упражнения,
means
движения
breathing
руками, например.
exercises.
Это будет снижать
You
ваше
breathe
давление.
and you move your hands. It will
Видите,
lower
есть
your
болезни
blood
праны.
pressure.
Болезни праны
There are
приводят к
illnesses of
слабости,
prana. They give
утомляемости повышенной,
weakness,
отсутствие
fatigue,
свежести, повышение
absence
давления,
of
жара во
freshness,
всем теле и так далее.
heat in your body,
Почему эти
high
болезни
blood
возникают?
pressure.
Потому что мы не знаем,
These
что такое
diseases
прана.
happen
Если бы мы
because
знали,
we
мы
do
бы
not
тогда
know what
выходили на
prana
свежий
is.
воздух,
If we
делали эти
knew,
упражнения, как
we
китайцы
would
делают.
have made
И было бы
exercises
много энергии,
on the
много
fresh
сил.
air like Chinese do, and we would
Но
have
так как мы
been
не знаем, поэтому чем
strong.
занимаемся?
But
Мы
as
кушаем
we do not
витамины.
know,
Когда
we
солнце
eat
поднимается
vitamins.
весной, чем
In
больше огня,
spring,
тем меньше
when the
сил.
sun becomes stronger,
Огонь
the
увеличивает
more fire, the less
перемены в
strength.
жизни и уменьшает силы.
Fire gives changes in your
Энергия
life and deprive you
И
of
когда
strength.
солнце поднимается,
And
падают
when the
силы.
sun is
Человек
rising,
вялость
you
начинает
have less
чувствовать.
strength,
Ему не
you
хватает
become
витаминов,
weak,
начинает
and
есть
you
витамины. А
think
надо
that
просто
you
делать
lack
дыхательные
vitamins.
упражнения.
But you must
Вялость
do
значит нехватка
pranayama.
праны. Видите,
If
часто
you are
из-за
weak, you lack
незнания,
prana.
что, как работает механизм,
Because we have
вот
no
этот
knowledge
внутри нас, мы
of
вообще
our body
занимаемся какими-то
functioning,
другими вещами.
we do wrong
Понимаете,
things.
да? Есть простые вещи.
There are
Вот,
very
например, как
simple
сидеть
things.
нельзя.
For example,
Вы
you
сейчас
cannot sit
перегреваетесь, да,
like
вам
this.
надо
It
взять
makes
вот этот
you
плащ и положить куда-нибудь.
overheated.
Положите его
You
на
should
колонну.
put your
На
coat
колонну
aside.
положите. Ну, положите, не надо сидеть с
Put
этим
it
плащиком.
aside.
Да.
Do not hold it in
Куда-нибудь
your
его
hands.
положите. Ну да. Можно сюда, да, положите. Освободите себя от этой ноши. Вот сейчас спросим.
And now,
Вам свежее стало сейчас?
do you feel fresher?
Задышали? Чувствуете, да?
Can you
Как-то так
feel
легче,
it?
да?
It is lighter.
Видите, как мы себя применяем?
You see how we burden ourselves with some unnecessary things?
Итак, прана берет силы у ума.
Prana gets strength
Ум —
from
это
mind.
психическая структура,
Mind
которая имеет
is a
характер или настроение.
psychical structure that has
Бывает разное
its mood or
настроение,
character.
хорошее настроение,
A person
бывает
can be
тяжелое
in a
настроение.
good mood or in a
Хорошее
heavy
настроение
mood.
означает оптимизм.
Good mood means
Чувство победы
optimism.
внутри.
You
А
feel
тяжелое
victory
настроение
inside
означает
you.
пессимизм,
And
чувство
heavy
поражения.
mood is defeat,
Вот у меня
is
сейчас внутри чувство
pessimism.
победы или чувство поражения?
Do I have victory or defeat inside me now?
Кто считает чувство поражения?
Who thinks that defeat?
Как решили откуда?
How do you know that?
Это просто объем работы.
That is just the amount of work, what you see.
О, видите, он
And
говорит,
he
я
says
сижу, значит,
that
чувство
I
победы.
am joyful, that means I have
А вы
victory.
почему так посчитали?
And why did you think differently?
Может быть, это у вас проблема?
Maybe the problem is in you.
Мы случайно.
We met each other accidentally,
Благословляю тут случайно.
and he blesses accidentally, and I am grateful for eternity.
Будем петь с вами. Да?
We are going to sing in this lecture. I am in a good mood.
Я вам открою секрет, почему.
I'm going to tell you a secret
Потому что
why.
я вкусил
Because I
радость
tasted
природы
joy
этого города.
of the
Я
nature of
всегда
this city.
перед тем, как приехать на лекции,
Always before coming to a lecture, I first
коплю силы, набираю
get
силы.
strength. I
У вас есть одно
accumulated.
местечко в городе, где
There is
течет
one
такая
spot
река
near
в
your
городе,
city.
вдоль холмов.
There is a
Там
mountain
стоит
river.
большая банка деревянная.
There are hills. There is a
И эта река
bathhouse,
сейчас, она очень наполнена
and
силой.
this
То есть
river
я
has a
сразу
lot of
после
strength
самолета
now.
приехал, пошел в баньку.
I came off the plane. I went to the Russian bath,
Во время после парной
and
в холмах.
after the steam room, I took a dip in a cold river, and I got a lot of strength from energy. I felt magnificence of this place, hills, trees, and the river. I got strength. And do you feel how great this place is? I bathed in the Yenisei last year, and yesterday I bathed in Baikal. Well, okay.
Я вас убедил.
Did I convince you?
Так, движемся вперед.
Let's move on.
Разум — это психическая структура,
Intelligence is
которая
a mental structure
имеет цель,
that has a
имеет веру,
life goal.
имеет решимость,
It has
имеет
faith,
знание,
decisiveness,
правильно
and
жить.
knowledge how
Разум —
to
это
live right.
психическая структура, которая
And
называется
mind
счастье.
is a mental
Всё, что
structure
связано с
that
истиной и
requires
со
happiness.
счастьем, всё это
Everything about
наполняет
the
радостью.
truth and happiness gives joy
Всё, что
to
связано с
mind.
ложью или
And everything about lies and suffering gives
если разум наш
sadness to
правильно
mind.
настроен правильно,
If our intelligence goes in the right
то
direction,
есть счастье
it always
называется
searches for happiness.
устремленность человека.
It is about
Когда
our
человек
goal,
находит
where we
счастье,
go
это
to.
называется верой.
When we
Когда
find
человек
our happiness,
соединяется
we have
со
faith.
счастьем,
When a person is
с верой, со своей,
rejoined
то
with
он
his
идет к своей
happiness
цели в
and
жизни.
faith, he
Движется
goes
по
to his goal
движению
in
к
life.
жизни, наступает
That is
движение к
movement.
То есть разум — это
So
психическая
intelligence
структура, которая
is
ведет
a
нас по жизни.
mental structure
Ум —
that drives
это
us
то,
in
что дает
life.
здоровье или болезнь.
Mind gives
Там,
us
где находится
health
наш
or
характер.
diseases.
Ум
Our character
нуждается в
is
энергии
also
счастья,
there.
потому что каждую
Mind needs
секунду,
energy
каждый
of
орган,
happiness
каждая
because
клетка
every
организма
second, every
нуждается в
cell
том,
of
чтобы
our
жить.
body
Жить
wants to live.
означает пользоваться
And to
энергией
live
счастья.
means to
Поэтому,
use
когда
the
человек страдает,
happiness
он
energy.
также
So when a
психически
person
страдает, он также портит
suffers
свое здоровье.
mentally, he
Потому
also
что
ruins
именно
his health
психическая
because
энергия ума
mental
питает все клетки
energy
организма
feeds
здоровьем.
all
Каждая
cells of
черта
our
характера
body with
связана с
health.
каким-то
Each
особым
trait of
органом.
character is connected
Допустим,
to some organ.
а,
For example,
нежность, доброта связана с сердцем.
gentleness and
Смелость,
kindness
решимость,
are
вечность.
about heart.
Трудолюбие,
Decisiveness
решимость,
are
стабильность
connected
с
to
позвоночником
liver. Stability is our spine,
и так далее.
and so on.
Если человек
If a
неправильно
person
живет, у него
lives
появляются
wrong,
какие-то болезни.
he gets diseases.
Но представьте, если
But
человек находится в
imagine,
стрессе.
if a
Стресс
person is
означает
stressed,
длительное тяжелое состояние.
stress means a prolonged
Болезнь,
bad
несомненно, очень
condition.
сильно и активно развивается.
Then surely diseases get active. They develop quickly in your body.
Все заболевания
All
человека,
diseases
они
are
находятся внутри
inside
7
our
слоев психических.
7
Это как
layers of
моторика, один слой
mental
другой.
body.
Один самый
It is like a
поверхностный
Russian
слой, он
doll,
отвечает за
one
кожу,
inside another.
и он
The
идет внутрь
outer
этого
layer
слоя,
is responsible
отвечает за
for
слизистые
our
оболочки
skin
организма.
and
Следующий
mucous
слой,
membranes.
более глубокий,
The
отвечает за
next layer
сосудистую всю
is
систему.
responsible
Также
for
отвечает за
our
сосуды
blood vessels
внутренних
and
органов, внутренний
circulation.
листок. И снаружи
And
листок.
each layer has an
Следующий слой
outer
отвечает за
surface,
мышечную
outer
систему,
petal, and inner petal.
связки, сухожилия.
The next
И
layer
внутренний
is
листок
responsible
отвечает за
for
мышцы, органы и
muscles,
сосудов.
and the inner
Следующий
petal
четвертый
is
слой
responsible
отвечает
for
снаружи за жировую
organs,
ткань
muscles.
человека,
The
а
next
внутри
layer
за
is
ткань
fat
всех
tissue,
органов.
and on the inside,
Следующий листок
tissue
отвечает
of
за
all
кости все
organs.
в организме.
The next layer is responsible
Есть
for
кости,
all the
как
bones.
внешний листок, это
The
кости
outer
рук, ног,
petal
кости
is
ступней, кости
limbs,
позвоночника,
bones,
вообще.
and the inner is
Следующий листок
spine and
психически
skull.
отвечает за нервную
The
систему.
sixth layer is
Шестой
the nervous system.
и седьмой
And the
отвечает за
seventh
гормональную
one is
функцию
hormonal
мозга.
functions. It is the
Все
deepest
же они
layer.
связаны с психикой.
They all are
Самый
connected to our
наружный
mind.
листок
The
психически связан
outer
с кожей.
layer,
Он
controlling
несет в себе
our
энергию
skin,
мыслей.
carries energy
Глубже
of thought.
листок психический
Deeper
идет,
layer
несет в себе энергию эмоций.
has energy of
Еще более
emotions.
глубокий,
A
мышечный,
deeper
то, что
one, the
связано с
one that
мыслями,
controls our
несет в себе
muscles,
энергию воли.
it has the
желаем.
energy of
Еще
will
более
and
глубокий
desires.
листок несет в
The
себе
deeper
энергию
one
настроения человека.
is
Еще более
our
глубокий,
mood.
связанный с костной
The
системой,
deeper one,
несет в
that is
себе
about
энергию
bones,
концентрации внимания.
has energy
А еще
of
более глубокий,
concentration
связанный
and
с
focus.
системой, несет в
The
себе
deeper
энергию
one
счастья и
has
страдания.
energy of
А еще
suffering
более
and
глубокий
happiness.
листок,
And the
связанный
deepest one,
с гормональными
connected
функциями,
to our
несет в себе
hormonal
энергию
functions,
позитивизма
carries
или
energy of
негативизма.
positivity
То
or
есть позитивизм —
negativity.
это самое главное, что должен человек
Positivity
культивировать в
is
себе
the
в
main
жизни.
thing
И
that
вера
you must
означает
cultivate in
верить
your life. And
только в
faith
свет,
means
светлое.
that you should only believe in light in your
Вера
life.
не означает верить,
Faith
построить дом, там.
is not when you believe in getting a house or buying
Вера
a car.
означает,
Faith
что я
means that you
что-то очень возвышенное.
believe in something very elevated and pure. Although building a house is also faith, but it is wrong. There are supreme goals, there are vitally important goals, important and temporary goals. The supreme goal is to realize the soul, the self, and other people also, and to understand whether there is God. This is the supreme goal. This is what we live for. We were born for it. There are vitally important goals, that is self-improvement, development, that is health. You must know how to live right. That is vitally important. You cannot live unless you are healthy and developed. Important goals is doing your duties in society. If you don't, you are punished, you go to prison or something like that. And vitally important goal is self-improvement. You must not work on your relatives, you must work on yourself. There are important goals: to get education, to find home, to get a job. These goals are important, but you can get on without them. Can you live without work? Yes, many people do. They live in monasteries or they beg. You can live without education. Some people do. Can you live without an apartment? I still do not have a home of mine. Yes, you can. I live okay. These are important goals, but they are not vital. Please turn off your cell phones. One call and all the audience is distracted. Please. You want to receive knowledge from me, and for that we must have reciprocation. And from you it means turning your cell phone off. I ask you for nothing else. You can make an experiment. At the crucial moment, your cell phone will go off and it will disrupt the lecture. And you will say, Dr. Torsunov, this is your bad karma. That's a fact, I agree with you. But in this case, my bad karma is you. And your love for me makes my bad karma lighter. There are three major mental structures. There is intelligence that controls our goal of life and gives happiness to mind. And mind gives happiness to all our organs and systems. And there is ego, the feeling of self, that either listens to intelligence, then it goes the path of light, or it does not, and then it goes the path of its mistakes. A person who listens to intelligence believes in elders, scriptures, saints, and wisdom. A person who does not believes in himself. We were so young, we loved so sincerely, we believed in ourselves. The first round is already over, and we only realized that much. We've already lost all our friends. Try not to lose yourself. When a person believes in himself, he loses everything. And the reason is that that is not the right way to live. Inside us, around our soul, there is a mental layer. In Sanskrit, it is called Mohabhaga. It can be translated as a deep memory. It is a psychical layer that contains our desires and actions, and the soul looks around through this layer. For example, bad desires come out, and I see this world differently. For example, I am in a really good mood now. I've long wanted to come to Krasnoyarsk and give lectures here. But the woman thought I was in a bad mood. But she must be the reason of that. She looks from inside her, you are the soul. She looked, and maybe something was wrong today, and she thought that I was in a bad mood. I was not given a microphone, but my mood is completely different. Please forgive me. We can see this world differently, and we can be mistaken. I guess I understood this woman wrong also. We often make mistakes. We must know that. We should not trust our feelings. It doesn't matter if someone is good or bad. That is called duality. You must not trust it, because it will lead you to defeat. If you do not like someone, that does not make him bad. There is just incompatibility between you, some inner conflict. But it's okay. The main thing is what the person is aimed at. If he aims at good, he is good. But if he is aimed at bad, bad means living for yourself. That is what all scriptures say. And good means living for everyone else and God. There are different manifestations of not living for yourself. You can take care of nature, you can preserve higher laws, you can study scriptures and give knowledge to people, moral and higher knowledge. That means taking care of God, serving to Him. You can take care of people by helping them, making them happy, being healthy. That is called living happily for everyone else, because that harmonizes you with this world. And when you only care about yourself and your problems, you suffer. A soul has three energies or three desires, major ones. The first one is energy of love. It is located in the area of our heart. We have three centers of intelligence in our forehead, heart, and groin. They match up with the three energies of the soul. The main and the first energy is the energy of love. It is in the area of our heart. Who thinks that love is elsewhere? Because modern psychology suggests that the center of love is located lower than the heart. And if there is no harmony down there, then you should not live with this person. Because, well, this thing, love is there. If there is no harmony, there is no love. That is the philosophy. And it is crazy. It destroys life. Love is in the heart. Or is it not? You can feel it. And where are the proofs, Dr. Torsunov? The proof is in your heart. Everyone feels it. Where is love? Who does not feel it? Raise your hands. Be honest. Oh heart, you are so restless. Oh heart, it is so nice to live. Oh heart, I love that you are like that. Thank you, my heart, that you can love like that. Is it so? Do you agree with it?
Дальше
The
следующий
next
центр
intelligence
разума
center
управляет энергией знания.
controls the
находится
energy
возле
of
лба.
knowledge. It is in the area of our forehead.
Центр знания нужно
Everyone
каждому
needs
человеку. Жить без любви
knowledge.
не могут
You
люди.
cannot live without
Мы
it.
не можем жить без любви. Это
We
энергия
cannot
души.
live without
Без кого
love.
мы
It is
живем,
the
правильно?
energy of our soul.
Жить без любви не могут люди.
People cannot live
Час
without
без
love.
любви, без
An
любви
hour
пропащий
without
час.
love is a wasted
Нам
one.
хорошо, когда
We
мы
feel so well
любим.
when we
И
love,
даже
and
если
even if
не любят
we
нас.
are not loved back,
Хорошо, когда мы любим.
we feel well when we love,
Потому что душа хочет любить.
because
Это
the soul
вечное
wants to
желание
love.
наше.
It
Мы
is
вечные
our
души, нам
eternal
всё больше желания.
desire.
Ну, знание тоже нужно.
But also we need knowledge.
Ну, что сказать?
What can I say? What can I say? People are made like that. They want to know, to know. They want to know what is going to happen. Is it so?
Ну, невозможно без знания.
You cannot live without
На
knowledge.
лекцию для этого все пришли.
That is what you all came here for.
И третий центр разума
And
находится в
the
области
third
паха.
center
Там
is in the
находится
area of our groin.
желание жить.
Desire to live is in there.
Мы все хотим жить.
We all
Каждый
want to
человек
live.
хочет жить. Желание жить, оно одинаковое у мужчин и
Desire
женщин.
to live is the same in men and women.
Женщины больше хотят жить.
Women want to live more? I disagree with you.
Одинаково.
It's the same.
Мужчины, кто считает, что это
Men
неправда,
who think
что
that
женщины
it is
больше
not
живут,
true,
поднимите руку.
that women want to
Мужчины не
live more.
согласны.
Men disagree. There are less men at this lecture.
Женщины больше хотят жить. Давайте проголосуем.
Well, then
Женщины
let's
больше
vote.
хотят жить, голосование принято.
Women
Ну
want to
ладно.
live more,
Шутите.
the majority of the votes.
Итак,
It is wrong to joke
все
like
хотят
that.
жить одинаково. Но
Everyone wants to live just the same, but when we speak about love and knowledge,
что интересненько.
there is something interesting about it.
Когда душа
When a
в
soul,
своем желании жить
in its desire to
определяет,
live,
что главное в ее жизни
understands that the most important thing is harmony with this world and love,
близкие отношения с
close
этим миром,
relationships with this world,
тогда в
then
этом случае ее тонкое тело
its
формируется
subtle body is
интересным
formed.
образом. Вот этот канал психический,
This
Ида-Нади,
mental channel, Ida Nadi, is much stronger. Its strength
поэтому
increases,
грубое тело формируется
and the
нежным,
gross body is
чувствительным,
gentle, sensitive.
чувства все обостряются,
All the senses are very
эмоции
acute,
обостряются,
emotions are high,
обостряются.
desires are strong.
Какое тело развивается?
What is that body?
Женское тело развивается.
A female body is formed.
Если
If
душа хочет
a
знать,
soul desires knowledge,
разобраться
it
во
wants
всем,
to make
добиться
sense of
своего,
everything,
добиться
to
своего,
defeat in life, to achieve its goal,
чувства становятся твердыми,
then the senses are firm,
тонкое тело становится крепким,
the subtle body is tough,
волевым,
it has a
сосредоточенным.
willpower and focus and strength.
Какое тело
Which
развивается?
body is that?
Мужское.
A male body.
Опять женское.
A female again.
Куда бедного крестьянина
Where can we
податься?
find shelter?
Чувствуете?
Can you feel it? The
Усиливается с правой
right
стороны
side
психический
channel,
канал, который называется Пингала.
Pingala
Канал
Nadi,
с правой
is
стороны
stronger.
психический, он связан с мужским
It is
началом.
connected
Правое
to
ушко,
male
человек,
beginning.
правый
The
глаз,
right
правое ухо.
hemisphere,
На
right
тонком психическом
ear
плане
and
они
eye.
присутствуют.
On the subtle level, they have male nature in each person. And the left side of the body is female. And in women, mental energy on the left side is 3 times more active.
Женское тело и психика отвечают за близкие отношения.
A female body and mind are responsible for close relationships, for love, harmony, and gentleness in relationships.
И мужское
And
начало
the male beginning or the male
отвечает за
body
стабильность,
is responsible for stability, strength, willpower, bravery, responsibility, stability in life.
Любовь неустойчива по природе.
Love is unstable by nature, it is very sensitive,
Очень ранимые,
very vulnerable, so vulnerable, our beloved ones.
Когда человек любит, он очень
When a
ранимый.
person loves, he is very vulnerable and sensitive. But when a person strives for something in his life, he becomes stable. So female nature is responsible for love, it is sensitive by nature, and male for victory. First come the airplanes, and women come later. A man must strive for victory, and women strive for harmony. The Vedas explain that human life is meant for love, knowledge, and it must be there eternally in our life. A person does not die. The subtle body, our feeling of self does not die. Only our gross body dies. The soul is eternal and it does not even leave our subtle body. Everything that we accumulated in this life on the mental level we take with us. But all the material, gross things like money, home, we lose it all. So the most important thing in your life is to accumulate things that you take with you. And all the rest is secondary. It is needed to live in this body, but we will go on our life in the next body. The Vedas say that just like we fall asleep, we are forgetful of ourselves at that moment. Similarly, we leave this body. The Vedas say that life goes in cycles. An atom appears, it exists for a certain time, and then it vanishes. How did a nuclear bomb appear? Because the scientists found out that an atom has a half-life. There is a certain period. Everything goes in cycles, day and night. There is a solar cycle, earth cycle, atom cycle, and there is a cycle of a spiritual atom that is called a human. You are born in this body, you become mature, then old, and then you move to another body. Night means sleep. We are not self-aware, but then there is awareness again. There is no death. If a person understands it, his stress is less. Hooray! I don't die! I will not part with Komsomol, I will be eternally young. There was this song. When a person believes in something, he is happy and young. A person lives in this world for knowledge. The Vedas explain that knowledge allows us to be happy, and stress that you experience, what is it? It is an attempt to understand what to do. Which ones of you are in such condition that you cannot sleep, that you think and think? That means you are stressed. What do you think about? You do not know. I know for sure. You think of what to do. You want to know how to live on. You lack knowledge, and so you don't sleep. Because knowledge gives happiness. Love, this energy of love or happiness, requires knowledge. There is no happiness without knowledge. For example, two people met and got married. First, they enjoyed each other and thought that was love, but that was not. Enjoying or being in love, that we confuse with love, is actually spending energy of love. There is love when you accumulate love, and when two people just enjoy each other, that is not love, that is exploitation. I have a sister and a cousin. They watched TV and they saw a chicken. And my sister said, "I like chicken, it is so tasty." And my cousin started to cry. "I also like chicken, I want it to live." Love is different. One love means using, exploiting, and another means giving. Once I walked in a wood and I saw a big, beautiful beetle. I've never seen one like that. And I wanted to grab it. I wanted to feel it, it was so big and tough. And my wife said, "Do not touch it, it will get scared." Who has more love? I agreed with her, although I wanted. It is also alive. It has emotions. It gets scared and that's it. So I did not grab it, although I wanted to. And sometimes you want to grab a beautiful girl, but there is a wife, and the wife will be stressed. Yes, but the girl will also have stress, because if she is grabbed, she has plans. It is not nothing if you are grabbed. It does not work that well. She plans her life, how many children, what kind of apartment, but he appeared to be married. Love does not mean using. Love means giving. And in our mind, spontaneously, unconsciously, there is desire to use. It's always there in everyone. And the goal of this life is knowledge. You must overcome this inclination to use with knowledge, and you must learn to give. And when it happens, a person becomes happy. And so, when this desire to use in some field of life becomes very strong, it is called attachment by the Vedas. And there is no harmony or balance in love. I want it for myself. That's attachment. In that case, this unbalance causes stress. The environment always wants harmony. For example, a mother enjoys her child. A baby is born and she kisses it and enjoys it. That is desire to enjoy. But did you notice that sometimes even babies get tired of it? It is the native mother, but the baby is not so satisfied. It was too much for him. Does it happen? The child, when his mother always enjoys him, thinks that he is in the center of the world. He feels that he is the source of love. And when the child grows like this, he does not care about his mother later, about her opinion. He says, "Mother, give me money." He has no idea of serving to his mother. This idea should be cultivated, because naturally it is not there in the heart. It only comes with knowledge. So real maternal love is not desire to enjoy him, but inner duty to raise the child, to be a good person. For example, if I want to enjoy my child, then naturally I do not want him to cry. When he cries, there is no joy. And when he screams, "Mother, I want an ice cream," and I am strongly attached to him, what is the result? I give him the ice cream so that he wouldn't cry. Otherwise, I am disappointed. He eats the ice cream and he gets sour throat. Whose fault is that? Attachment, wrong attitude to the child, wrong understanding of what happiness is. Happiness is not enjoying your child, it means serving him. So, true manifestation of love is service. You do not want to eat chicken, you want to take care about it. You do not want to enjoy your child, you want to take care of him and serve him. Because serving means that sometimes you are strict. The higher manifestation of love is strict and not indulging. One interpreter asked me, "Look, if I am strict with my employees, they are angry, and if I am indulgent, they become insolent. What can I do?" I explained that both meant desire to enjoy the employees. You do not want them to torture you, but you must love them more by serving them. And in that case, you have the right to be more strict. The more you love, the more you take care not of yourself but of him, the more strict you can be with him. And the employee accepts it because he feels love. And when I explained it, he said, "But that is so tough to love everyone, Dr. Torsunov." And I answered, "That is why you are the boss. And if you cannot take it, then what kind of a boss are you? A boss is better than the rest, otherwise what does he get money for?" You see, there's a problem. It is that we lack understanding of how to see this world. This lack makes the boss furious. Imagine if all employees are either resentful or angry, it is maddening, and he does not know how to establish relationships, and there is stress. A mother does not know what to do with her child. Dr. Torsunov, I am tormented, he gets more insolent each day, but the invisible reason is desire to enjoy the child and not to set boundaries. Or, my husband torments me, I am tired of it. That means that you are indulgent. The wife does not want to teach her husband. She thinks, I won't bother him, otherwise he will leave me. Do you sense it? It is not love. Love means ability to do what is right for the person and not me. And now I have a question for you. Is human life meant for happiness or knowledge? Who thinks happiness? Raise your hands. And who thinks knowledge? There are more. I agree
Жизнь
with the
предназначена
second.
и для счастья, и для знания. Но без
Life is
знания
meant
счастья
for
не бывает.
both happiness and
Поэтому
knowledge,
сначала
but there is
знание,
no
а потом
happiness
счастье.
without knowledge.
Веды говорят,
So knowledge comes
человек не
first.
должен стремиться
The
к
Vedas
счастью.
say a person
Он
must
должен
not
стремиться к
strive for
выполнению своего
happiness.
долга.
He
И
must
должен стремиться
learn
к
to do
знанию
his
о том,
duty,
в чем
and
его
he
долг.
must strive for knowledge
Счастье приходит
about
как
his duty.
награда. Если
Happiness
человек
comes
стремится к
as a
счастью, он теряет
reward.
себя.
If a person strives for happiness, he loses himself. For example, I want to get married.
Девушки, хочу замуж.
Girls, do you?
Хочу замуж.
I want to get married.
Чтоб не пил.
He should not drink or smoke. He should give me flowers. He should call my mother, mother. He should be interesting to talk to.
То есть построена картинка определенная, да?
So you have an
Мечта, что это
image,
значит?
a dream.
Это значит,
What
что
is
я
dream?
хочу результата.
That means you want result.
Но в жизни все не так.
But life is different.
Человек не получает результата, пока он не
A
трудится.
person does not get results until
Вы не
he
приходите
works
в
on
кассу
it.
и говорите, дайте мне
You do not come to a cash office and
15,
say,
нет, 30 тысяч рублей.
give me 15, no, 30,000 rubles.
Зачем?
Why?
Мне кажется, такой
I
должна
think
быть
this
моя
is what
зарплата.
my salary should be.
Сразу смешно возникает какой-то
You are
сумасшедший
laughing
человек.
at it.
Но мы именно
This
в
is
жизни так
crazy.
себя ведем.
But this is the way we often behave
Человек
in
не
life.
должен думать о результате.
A person must
Хочу
not
замуж.
think of
Это
result.
неправильная философия
I want to get
вообще.
married. That
Не
is
надо сидеть
wrong
и хочу замуж,
philosophy.
хочу замуж. Олег
You
Геннадьевич,
shouldn't
когда
sit
я
and think about it.
Сейчас будет вопрос.
Олег Gennadievich, when am I going to get married? I will be asked after this
Когда
lecture.
сдадите экзамен.
When you pass your exam.
Вот представьте себе, если вы
Just
мыслите по-другому.
picture
Хочу замуж,
this.
хочу замуж.
I want to get
Что
married,
происходит
get
здесь?
married.
Вот она
What
говорит,
happens to a
хочу замуж,
girl?
что происходит?
She wants to get married.
Она бледнеет,
She gets pale.
лопнет.
She dries up.
Кому она такая нужна вообще?
Who wants her like that?
Девушка должна быть
The girl must be happy and joyful and self-satisfied and beautiful. And then a man thinks that's the girl of his dreams and he proposes.
Кому нужна?
But no one wants an
Чем
unhappy
больше
girl.
девушка хочет
The more
замуж,
the
тем
girl
меньше
wants to
шансов
get
ей.
married, the less chances she has.
Нужно не хотеть замуж, а учиться
Instead of
правильно выполнять
wanting,
свои
you
обязанности,
must learn
пожалуйста.
to do
Учиться
your womanly
доброй,
duties.
послушной,
You must be kind and
заботливой,
obedient, gentle,
ласковой.
caring.
Это проявление женской любви.
This is a manifestation of female love, that is an austerity. There is action and result. If a girl behaves right, she creates harmony in relationships, she gives love and she gets it back. What happens? She is filled with love. You see that? But if she gives nothing to no one, she cares about no one, she has no friends, she just sits alone and she wants to get married, she dries up, she loses her strength. Oh, my little fool, my daughter, look how thin you have gotten. I will take care about you. I want nothing.
Тоска меня снедает, не женат лишь я хожу. Так? Что это значит?
What does it mean? That is defeat in life.
Почему?
Why?
Потому что в этом мире
Because
есть
there is
закон.
a law in this world.
Сначала деньги,
First
потом
money,
стулья.
then goods.
Сначала человек должен трудиться,
First,
потом
a person
получать
must work, then he receives happiness.
счастье приходит через
Happiness comes through service.
Мы должны сначала
First, we
служить,
must
потом
serve
не думать
and
о
not
счастье.
think
Больше
about
думать,
happiness.
тем тяжелее
The more you
служить.
think about happiness, the harder it is to serve.
Я сейчас не
Just
буду думать о
imagine,
том, чтобы
I now
вы были
stop
счастливы, а я для
thinking
этого
of
сюда
making
ехал,
you
ехал,
happy,
ехал,
and that
ехал,
is why
ехал.
I came here. I took a flight.
От печали до радости.
From sadness to joy, there is a long ride.
Вот, для того, чтобы вы были счастливы.
I came here to make you happy. That is my goal.
Батареечки, бани, там, цель, чтобы
My
вы были
goal
счастливы.
is to make you happy.
Представьте, сейчас я
But
не об этом буду
imagine,
думать,
now instead of it, I think of making you love me.
Вам нравится моя лекция?
Do you like my lecture?
Ну, классно же, ну,
It is so great.
Некоторые уже морщиться начали.
Some people are making faces already.
Видите, если человек хочет наслаждаться,
If a person wants to enjoy, undoubtedly, he won't do his duty, but on the opposite, he is going to destroy everything. There is only one way to be happy, is to forget about your happiness and just do your duties. That is what scriptures say. You must forget about getting married. There is a story of a long stress. One girl, an acquaintance of mine, wanted to get married. It is natural for any girl, because a girl self-realizes in close relationships. If there are no, she withers like a plant. A flower is meant for love. Flowers are the energy of love of plants. Similarly, a woman is created for love. But if there are no close relationships, whom can she love? A bulb? She needs close relationships. And a woman needs to live. There is no life without close relationships. It's all empty, there is no purpose. There are three types of women. The first one just date and have fun. That means they do not understand what love is. They have temporary love that finishes quickly. Their love is just sleeping together. The second type is just long depression. And the third type, they accept the position that they have no husband, but they still love people because it is womanly. It is based on knowledge, because other women go to bed or cry at home in depression, but if a woman learns how to live right, she makes herself take care of girlfriends, of a neighbor, some old lady that cannot walk. She takes care about everyone, even about birds. She feeds birds, she takes care of her parents, and when she does, she gives her love. What happens to her? She becomes beautiful. Because there is love exchange, and when a girl has it, she becomes beautiful. Beauty is not the shape of the body. Beauty is being filled with love. Such a girl becomes beautiful. The shape of the body is given from birth, and body forms accordingly to the energy of beauty. But if there is no feeling of love, there is no function, love, kindness, sympathy, then there is no life in a female body, and such girl is unrequired. So, there are two ways to live. One is wishing happiness, and another serving. Wishing happiness is a natural function that awakens on its own. We want happiness, and when we live like this, we dream. It is ignorance. ignorant life.
Другое состояние, в котором человек
Another way,
трудится на
when a
основе знаний
person works according to the knowledge,
другим
he
счастье,
wishes happiness to others, he takes care about them. It is called goodness. That is when the person forgets himself and just gives happiness to others. Serve always and everywhere. Shine here and there. Shine till the latest. That is my motto and the one of the sun. You should have this motto in your heart. And there is the third type of people. These are the ones who lack knowledge but still have an active life position. They live for themselves, but they do it actively. They want an apartment and a car, more money, power, and so on. And they also endeavor for themselves. This is life in the mode of passion. And now listen to me attentively. When a person is deeply egoistic and he wants to do nothing for others, he can be either active or passive. When he is passive, he is depressed, but when he is active, then he cheats and steals and makes violence. That is active ignorance. The mode of passion, there also are active and passive conditions. For example, a person is a beggar, he asks for money. Is he active? Yes, he asks for money. He even can grab you by the hand and demand money. That is passion. But also a person can work actively for himself, for his own good, very actively. That is also passion. Ignorance or passive life for yourself or active life for yourself make you degrade. But passion is different from ignorance because a passionate person thinks that he lives for others. He says, I live for my family, for my children. But in fact, a false ego has two sides, me and mine. Why don't you live for someone else's children? If you take care about someone else's children, that is ignorance. It is naturally there in passion or ignorance. For example, you go to bed and you start dreaming. That is ignorance. When you sleep, it's ignorance. Passion is also natural because we need to breathe, to get rest, to eat. If we don't, we will suffocate and die hungry. Passion appears naturally in our psyche because that is a matter of survival. You need something in your life. But a person of knowledge knows that his needs should come second and duty first, and then there is happiness. Until your own interests come first, there is no happiness. Why are there fights in families? I meditated very seriously on fighting. What do? We prove our rightness. We want happiness for ourselves. But should we leave this idea and start serving? Even if one of two does it, the fight is over, there is harmony. Forgive me and don't farewell with me. I say this time so that there was a dawn. Forgive means I am guilty. It is the position of knowledge, because a person cannot just admit his guilt at once. Our sense of right is very strong inside, and men and women can hardly understand each other. In general, what a woman considers normal is hidden by her ignorance. For example, a woman thinks it normal to be emotional in relationships. She says, Please treat me better.
Эмоционально. Что тебе не нравится?
I was a bit emotional.
Она
What
не
is
знает,
there
что
not
это
to like?
эмоциональность
She does
является
not know
таким же
that
гневом.
emotions are the same thing as
Мужчина, когда
anger
ему так говорят,
in a
ему
woman,
больно становится в сердце.
and
Начинает
a
злиться,
man
то есть
is hurt
давить
by
силой
that.
своей. У женщины сила в
Female
эмоциях,
strength is
у
in
мужчины
emotions,
сила
and
в его
male
воле.
is in will.
Женщина давит эмоции, мужчина волей.
A woman
Женщина
presses with
эмоции, мужчина
emotions,
волей.
and
Начинается
a
скандал.
man with his will, and there is a fight.
Почему они скандалят? Они не
Why do they
понимают.
fight? They do not understand
Мужчина
each
считает,
other.
я имею право сказать
And
свое
the man
мнение.
thinks,
Женщина
I have
считает,
a right
«Я имею
to express
право
my
выразить свои
opinion.
чувства».
And a woman thinks, I have a right to express my
В данном
feelings.
случае они чем занимаются?
But what do they do in
Они
this
занимаются
situation?
тем, что не хотят
They do
служить
not
другому,
want to
а
serve
служат
each
своим
other.
желаниям, своим
They
интересам.
serve their desires.
Это состояние служения
This
своим интересам
condition
и
of
желаниям
service to
возникает
your
из воли.
interests comes
Часто
from
человеку
pain.
больно, он
A
начинает
person is often
обороняться,
hurt
защищать свои
and he
интересы.
starts to protect his interests.
Но,
But
то есть судьба заставляет нас ходить в
fate
невежество.
reduces us
Но
to
потом, когда это
ignorance, but
закончилось,
then,
надо
once it is
попросить
over,
прощения.
we must ask for forgiveness.
Просить прощения
Asking
означает служить.
for forgiveness
Я
means
еще не знаю, в
serving.
чем я виноват.
I do not know what my guilt is yet.
Что с тобой стряслось, друг, опять?
What happened to you, my dear friend? Maybe I did something wrong. You cannot be silent
Час и другой,
an hour and two.
То есть желание,
You see,
любовь означает идти
Love
навстречу.
means
Быть может, я в чем
making
виноват.
the first step forward.
Видите,
Maybe
есть
I'm guilty of
истинная энергия
something.
любви,
That
желание
is a
служить
true
другим,
energy of love,
прощение,
desire to
прощать,
serve,
просить прощения,
forgiving,
заботиться.
asking for forgiveness and taking care. And
Ложная энергия любви,
there is a
доказывать свое,
false energy
объяснять,
of
как ко
love,
мне надо
proving
относиться,
your point,
требовать
explaining
внимания к
how
себе,
to be
заботы,
treated,
требовать уважения к
demanding
себе и
care,
так далее.
love and respect.
Все это приводит к страданию.
It all causes
Но
suffering.
стресс – это
But
совсем другое.
Stress is different.
Страдания в нашей жизни неизбежны. Нет
Sufferings
знания,
are
будут страдания. Будут
inevitable.
бороться, спориться,
You have no
мучиться
knowledge,
и так
you
далее.
will suffer,
Это
you will
незнание.
fight.
Но
That is ignorance.
стресс – это другое.
But stress is something
Стресс –
different.
это когда ситуация
Stress
длится
is when the
больше, чем
situation
1,5 года.
lasts for over a
Долго
year and a
длится
half.
стресс.
It is long.
Для того, чтобы понять, что такое
In
стресс,
order
я хочу
to
объяснить
understand
еще
what
более
stress
сложные вещи,
is,
которые тоже надо
I have
знать.
some more complicated things to explain to you.
Итак, у нас есть разум,
We
который
have
ведет по
intelligence
жизни человека,
that
он ставит
leads
цели.
us in life.
Если он
It
неправильно
sets our
ставит цель,
goal.
будет обязательно
If the
стресс.
goal is right,
Потому
there
что
is
цель
surely
жизни человека
stress,
– это
because
развитие.
the goal of a human life is development. We must reach for the truth
Если цель
and not
поставлена
just
неправильно,
earn
будет
money.
стресс.
If the
Жизнь
goal
приведет
is wrong,
человека к
we get
стрессу.
stress.
Потому
Life
что в
will
жизни
get us
надо
there,
развиваться.
because we
Я вам
must
сейчас
get
это легко
developed.
покажу, почему в жизни надо развиваться.
I can easily prove it
У
to
нас
you.
внутри, вот здесь, где находится
Inside us,
центр
where
желания,
there is
желаний
the
и
center
поступков
of
наших,
desires
там
and
внутри душа.
actions,
Это
inside
центр
it
тонкого
there is
психического
our
тела.
soul. It is the
Психическое
center
тело
of
живет
our
по другим
whole
законам,
subtle
не
body.
как грубое. Если грубое
This
тело
body
просто
lives
стареет
according
со
to
временем,
different laws.
то
If
тонкое
our
тело,
gross body
оно
ages
сначала в
with
детстве,
time, then
ребенок,
our
когда
subtle
рождается,
body, when
мать
a
смотрит на
child
него и
is
видит в нем
born,
сразу
a
душу,
mother looks
потому
at
что вот
him
этот
and
вот тонкий
sees the
шарик,
soul
тонкий
in him,
психический, который
because this
показывает
cover
грехи,
around our
всё
soul
плохое,
that
что
shows our sins.
Понимаете, у ребенка
In a
этот шарик
child,
не работает, он
this
неактивный.
cover, this
То
ball
есть у
is
ребенка
inactive.
энергия кармы или судьбы не
The
включена
child
еще.
does not have karma or fate yet, and so his mother sees the soul.
Доброта,
And the soul is kindness, simplicity, beauty, honesty, bravery,
и так далее.
wisdom,
Это самое лучшее, что
etc.
есть в человеке.
It is all the best there
Понимаете,
is
качества
in
характера
a
все
person.
самые лучшие, они идут из
All
души.
best personal
Когда мать видит
qualities
своего
come from the
ребенка, она
soul.
думает,
And
«Господи,
when the
какой
mother
мудрый,
sees the
какой
child,
честный,
she thinks,
какой
he
добрый,
is so
какой
kind
нежный,
and honest,
какой
so gentle,
искренний.
so sincere.
Матери, давайте, какой у вас еще?
Mothers,
Тогда
remember,
правильно,
what
вспомните
else
свою
did
мать.
you feel about your small child?
чистый, красивый,
pure and
искренний,
beautiful,
ласковый.
caressing.
Разве это можно забыть?
Can you forget it?
Мать может это забыть?
Can a mother forget it?
Поэтому она всю жизнь любит
No.
своего ребенка.
And she loves her
Но
child her
Библия
whole
объясняет,
life.
что 2 раза
But the Vedas explain that God
душу.
gives us a chance to see the soul only twice in our life.
Мать видит ребенка,
The first is when a mother sees her newborn, and the second is when two people fall in love.
в результате
Love
гармонии
means
сердца
that
возникает гармония между людьми.
There is harmony between
В этот
people,
момент, во время
between
этой
their
гармонии,
hearts,
отодвигается
and
карма,
this
и
harmony
отодвигается
puts
этот вот
karma
шар,
aside.
через призму которого
This
человек
ball,
смотрит на мир.
through which the person looks at this world,
Человек начинает
is
видеть
set
всё
aside,
самое лучшее в другом человеке.
and the person can see all the best qualities in
Это
the one
означает,
he falls in love with.
что Бог показывает
That
нам,
means
с кем нам
that
жить,
God shows whom
на кого
we are
обратить
going to
внимание,
live with,
как действует
whom
судьба.
we should notice.
Знаешь, что у него
That
есть
is our
недостаток?
fate in
Просто сейчас не
action.
видно.
That does not
Надо
mean that
запомнить
person has no
душу в
flaws,
человеке,
but
запомнить
we just do
гармонию,
not see
запомнить
them.
в нем эту его
We must
красоту.
remember that moment, that beauty.
Вижу я рассвет,
I see the sunrise in your
слышу
eyes.
пение птиц, твои
I hear
слова.
the singing of the birds in your
Солнце,
birds.
луч любви, как-то там и свет. Ты приносишь
You
мне
give me
рассвет.
the sunrise.
Понимаете, то есть человек начал видеть душу в другом человеке.
The person sees the soul in another person.
Единственный способ
And the only way
налаживать отношения
to
это
make relationships
вспоминать
better is to remember
первые моменты отношений.
the first moments of relationships, because the whole fate is there. When you see the person for the first time, God opens the soul and with it life with that person, your correct life. There is correct life and there is fate. You see correct life like revelation and you must strive for it. And fate is what stands in your way. For me, correct life is to read this lecture, and my fate is absence of microphone stand, no more drinking water, and that should not hinder me. I should not react on it. So, knowledge is to remember the first time you met your spouse. We must learn to see the soul. We look at karma. It shows in the eyes. Ears are connected to intelligence. Through sound we get our goal in life. Touch sense is connected to intelligence and mind. It either purifies us or contaminates. If we have dirty clothes, we are contaminated. If we touch a drunk, we get contaminated, our mood is spoiled. If we have clean clothes or we touch some elevated person, we feel better. If one cheats on his wife, sex is also haptic sense, and he gets different force in his intelligence and he loses love for his wife and family. That is contaminating. Eyes are connected to mind or our fate, karma. Karma is in our mind. Mood and desires come from our mind. Mind is also here in the area of our heart. And when fate wakes up, we see flaws in our close person and we fight and we say, "You used to treat me differently." But he did not do it before. Before it was a present from God, a revelation. Only twice you can have this. A child is also not always so pretty. After 12, after puberty, karma starts to come out and a child causes troubles. He has his opinion, he has his karma. It is stronger with age. The less the fate acts through a person, the nicer he is. For that reason, everyone likes children. For example, there is a little girl, everyone kisses her. Her poo is even nice, if that's a baby. To her mother, even poos are nice. But if that is an old lady, no one kisses her anymore. That means that the subtle body already has a lot of fate in it and a lot of difficulties for her and for people around. There are more mental difficulties with age, and old people often grumble. They do not cope with difficulties. Grandmas, dear grandmas, you are all ears. Grandmas, we respect you so, but we cannot understand you. That means that fate is heavy, more heavier than in childhood or youth. There are more exams in life. Difficulties are accumulated in our subtle body. But if a person with each year works on himself more, then difficulties are not accumulated, but experience of victory, of overcoming yourself. And such person does not get grumble with age, he becomes wise and attractive. There are three types of beautiful people. The first one is children, the second is young women, and the third one is wise people. If the first two things come from fate, children are beautiful because they are pure. Fate does not affect them yet. The parents usually buy it and make false conclusions. Oleg Gennadievich, you said that children with age become different, but my children are saints. And I ask, how old are they? 7 years old. You will see it, just wait. Don't think so. If you see a person's purity, help him to become like that. When with age a person becomes childlike, his soul is open, his mind is simple, and his eyes shine with kindness, that means he is saint. He is pure of all sins, he overcame his fate and all difficulties. Our life is given not for happiness, but to overcome our difficulties. We are born in pain, we go in pain, and we have so much difficulties in life. If we were born for happiness, we would have enjoyed all the time. But we have difficult life, and that means our life is meant for knowledge, human life, for victory, for understanding of things, and then there is happiness. And also first you love and serve, and then you have happiness. There is male way in life. First you achieve something, you take care about everyone, and then there is success or respect. And the female way is first there is service with love, caress and tenderness, and then there is love. You see, a person lives for labor. The soul must work day and night. We must not dream. But stress is an unusual thing, because Stress means happiness is over. No matter if you live right or wrong, if you help or not, there is no happiness. Who experiences it now? That means stress. Do we have another microphone? I like to speak to the audience. Otherwise, it resembles schizophrenia, when a person speaks and does not want to listen to anyone. Please speak. Is the microphone on? And now I have a question for you. Why do we have this stress now? Do you know why? Because someone does not do his duties. It causes suffering to everyone. Please do your duties. The microphones must work properly. You see, my karma is very heavy in Krasnoyarsk. Let's discuss the situation. How should I behave now? I am failed. I cannot read the lecture. What should I do? First, I should accept my fate. This is what my fate is here. Then, I should forgive these people. And then, as it is also hard for them, I must smile to them and tell them that everything is going to be fine. My stress is that I cannot cure my skin disease. I should accept my disease, I guess, and accept myself as I am, or do something about it. You see, we are talking now. Why is this lecture like this? Problems with microphones? Because this is the topic. This person is seriously ill, and it is no fun. And stress is no fun either. That means unsurmountable difficulties in life. And God helps us. He creates these situations so that we understood how it actually all is. I understand your request. You came here for relief. And a hungry person says, I want to eat right now. He does not care if he will be given food. He just, I want to eat, I want to eat. And an ill person similarly demands relief. He wants to be treated. I understand you. I've just been hungry, I had some food, and I am calm now. In order to get cured, firstly, you must start inner life. I'm going to explain it to you later. But now you revealed this topic that stress is hard and it is long. You are now all witnesses. You want to have relief right now. Of course, I would like to have some relief, but the results are temporary for now. So you live to be happy. Yes, I want to be happy. And this is your misunderstanding. And each person in stress wants to be happy. And before he overcomes this idea of being happy, he won't get out of stress and get cured. Because the problem is inside you, and not that I do not want to make you happy. but you are unable to understand it now, and that is why we are gathered here. Please let me go on with my lecture, and we have free health consultations. Please go to the doctor and speak to him. As for me, I will help you. The doctor will tell you about our treatment and if we work with this disease. That is a different matter. The question of kindness and desire to help people is different, but we are speaking about what you should do with yourself. This is what this lecture is about. The Vedas explain that in our body there are two souls, and sometimes even three. You don't believe me? I'm going to explain it. There is our body, and there are two souls in it. The first one is me, and the second one is the super soul. The Vedas call it Atma. Atma and atom have the same origin. The soul is the size of an atom. It is an eternal particle that has intelligence and senses and character. It exists internally. It never dies. And there is Param Atma. Param means supreme. The Vedas say that right behind our soul, in the area of our heart, there is a representation of God in each person. And this super soul has its functions, and we experience it every day, although we do not notice it. These functions are: the first one is the feeling whether you did something right or wrong. That is our conscience. Conscience is the first function. And as the conscience is very painful to our consciousness, the scriptures explain how you should deal with your conscience right. As a person who has flaws finds it hard in general to admit them, it is difficult to contact your conscience. The Vedas explain that conscience reveals itself through the seniors, saints, and scriptures. These are the three sources of conscience in this world. When a person addresses his seniors, his own conscience speaks through them. Here is an example. Which ones of you saw me in a dream? What did I tell you? I don't remember exactly, but I said, "What would I do without you?" But I do not remember that. I did not come into your dream. I tell you for certain that your own conscience came to you in your dream, but it takes appearance that we accept. Seniors come to you in your dream, that is your conscience. It also gives us ability to live. It saves us. It allows you to sense danger. Which ones of you felt danger clearly before it happened and saved? It happened to me many times. Once I walked in a wood with my friend. We went to a Vedic temple. The place was very beautiful. There was a trail in the wood, and there were two men in front of us. They wore dark coats. they were unusual,
давали возможность
and
нам
they
пройти
walked
между ними.
very slowly, and we were supposed to walk
И
through
когда
between
я
them.
проходил мимо них,
And when
то
I
я почувствовал,
walked by, I
мне
felt
совесть, вот это чувство
my
знания
conscience
дало знать о том,
gave
что
me
сейчас
knowledge
мне по
that
голове прилетит дубина
I was
сзади.
going to be hit on the
Прямо
head
сейчас.
right
И
in that
причем
moment.
интересно, что если это просто
And
какое-то наваждение, то ты
if
никак
it
не
is just some
реагируешь. Но в этот
illusion,
раз
you do
я
not react on
среагировал.
it. But that time I
резко,
reacted,
ну,
and
голову
I
убрал
ducked
вперед,
very suddenly,
нагнулся
and
вперед.
the
И эта дубина
club
только чиркнула
only
мне по
brushed
голове,
me
она
over
не
the
попала.
head. It did not
И
hit
я
me.
крикнул своему
And I
товарищу
screamed to
«Бежим!»,
my
а в это
friend to
время к нему
run,
прилетела
but in
дубина
that
по
moment
ногам,
he was hit
поэтому
on
ему
his
бежать
legs.
было трудно.
It was hard for him to
Когда мы
run.
бежали, я чувствовал, что
When we
он
ran, I
отстает,
felt
а я
that he
опережаю. И я могу их
was
догнать,
behind me.
потому что им неохота
I
было
could
сильно бежать.
overrun them because they
жизнь
did
своей
not feel
спасали.
like running. They did not run for
Вот.
their life.
Но моему другу было
But
трудно бежать.
my
И
friend
опять я спросил
could
свою
hardly
совесть, что
run.
мне делать?
And again, I
Останавливаться
asked
с ним
my
или бежать
consciousнess
дальше?
whether
Если
I
остановлюсь
should
с ними,
stop.
они будут бить нас
If I
обоих.
stopped, they
Могут убить.
would
А
beat
если
us both,
я
and they can
иду
even
вперед, то я
kill
предам
us.
его,
But if I
чтобы
run
убить
on,
его
it's
одного.
a betrayal, and he will die
Как вы думаете,
alone.
что мне сказала совесть?
What do you think my conscience
Кто
told me?
считает, оставайся, поднимите руку.
Who thinks it was to stay?
А кто считает,
And
двигайте
who
руку?
thinks it was to run?
Видите, совсем никто так не
You
считает.
see, no
Вот
one
именно
thinks
так она
that.
мне и сказала.
And that is what I've been told.
Совесть не выбирает не то, что мы считаем правильным,
Conscience
а то,
does
что
not pick
даст
what we
спасение.
think right, but it picks
Даст
what
спасение.
gives
Не
salvation.
безопасность, а спасение. Причем
Not
спасение
safety,
обоим,
but
потому что я
salvation
не
for
был
both of
настроен на
us.
то, чтобы спасать только
I was
себя.
not prone to
Я выбрал
only
то, что мне
save
сказала
myself.
совесть.
I
Я бежал чуть
chose
подальше,
what
остановился,
conscience told me.
развернулся.
I
В это время
ran
они
to the
начали
side,
убивать.
I turned
А он
around, and in that
занимался
moment
ушу и умел ставить
they
блоки,
started
он
to
начал
beat
там
him.
ставить
But
блоки,
he
чтобы
did Ushu
реагировать
and
на
he could do
удары.
blocks.
Ни один удар
He
не
was
пришелся
not
по телу.
hit on
В это
his body
время
even once.
дальше совесть со мной работала. Она
Then
мне
the
внутри
conscience
начала, так
worked
как я
on.
молитвой занимаюсь,
As
я
I
настроился
pray,
внутрь себя,
I
и совесть дальше
meditated
не начала
inside me,
диктовать, что делать.
and I
Я
knew
очень
what to
сильно
do next.
сконцентрировался,
I focused very well.
сделал сильный вдох,
I breathed in deeply.
поднял руку вверх, вот так
I
вот,
raised my
и
hand
очень
up,
густым голосом, не своим,
and in
я
a
никогда
thick,
так не говорил,
weird voice,
начал
I
громогласно
started to
кричать:
scream very
«Остановитесь,
loudly,
иначе я вас
"Stop,
прокляну».
or I will curse you."
И представляете,
And
этих людей
can you
я не
imagine?
верил, я вообще не понимал, что
I
происходит.
did
То
not
есть это
know
говорил
what
не
was
я, а
happening.
что-то
I
изнутри
was
меня.
not speaking. It was something from
И
inside
у этих
me.
людей опустились руки,
And
представляете?
these two
У них
people
опустились
could not
руки, они
beat
побежали.
anymore, and they started to run.
Удивительная ситуация в жизни произошла.
That was amazing. God protects you like that.
Вторая ситуация была такой.
Another
У меня
case was like
родственники
this.
уехали на Урал, я жил в
My
Тольятти.
relatives went to the
Я уже
Ural.
начал
I
читать
lived in
молитвы,
Tolyatti.
теологические знания.
I've already
И
prayed at the time and studied
в
the
этот момент,
Vedas.
во время молитвы, я вдруг
And
почувствовал,
when
что
I
вот
prayed,
сейчас прямо
suddenly I
у
felt
меня
that in that exact
мать,
moment,
отец и сестра
my
должны
mother,
погибнуть.
father,
В
and
эту
sister
секунду.
are supposed to die. In that
Я
second.
тогда уже изучал, как правильно читать
And
молитву, чтобы
I
победить
knew
судьбу.
how
Я
to
настроился
read a
именно
prayer
таким
to
образом,
defeat fate.
очень сильно
I
сосредоточился
meditated
и
very
почувствовал объем
strongly,
работы. Я
and I
почувствовал,
felt
сколько
the
сил нужно
amount of
приложить,
work.
чтобы
I
они
knew
были
how much
спасены.
strength I
Каждый
needed
человек это
to
может почувствовать.
exert
Этот
to
объем
save
работы
them.
может
This
выражаться в
amount
виде
of work can
отчаяния,
show as
безысходности,
despair,
тоски, который
hopelessness,
вызывает
and
плач,
sadness
слезы,
that make you
крик.
cry and
Человек крикнуть
scream.
может от страха.
A person can
Или
scream of
вызывает,
fear,
если
or
человек
if a
сосредоточен на Боге
person
или на
is
святости, это одно и то же.
focused on God
Потому
or
что
holiness,
святость
which is
означает
the
свет,
same,
исходящий от того,
because
кто
holiness
связан с Богом.
is the light coming from the
То в
person
этом
who
случае у
is
него
connected to
возникает
God.
внутри
In that case, inside
желание
him,
трудиться,
there is a desire to work,
победить,
to
спасти,
overcome, to
защитить.
save, to protect.
Вот смотрите, одна и та же сила вызывает
It is the
отчаяние,
same
страх,
force.
тревогу,
It either causes anxiety, cry, hopelessness, fear.
непринятие объема работы.
It is when you do
Захожу на
not
кухню, там
accept
бардак.
your amount of
Не
work.
могу смотреть.
I come into the kitchen and
Захожу на
there is
работу,
a
на кухне,
mess.
там
I
бардак.
cannot look at it. I come into the kitchen, there is a mess.
Чувствуете
I
разницу
must clean
в
it up.
настроении, да?
Do you feel the difference in the two moods?
Такой бардак.
Such a mess.
Кто виноват?
Whose
Кто
fault
виноват?
is it? Who did it?
Почему микрофоны не
Why
отложены?
the microphones won't work?
Один вариант жизни,
This is one
второй вариант
way to live,
трудиться.
and another is to work.
Трудиться означает доброта,
To work
означает
means
прощение,
kindness, forgiveness,
означает смирение,
humbleness,
означает принятие. И
acceptance.
все это возможно
And
не
you
по
cannot
своей
do it
воле.
on your
Сам
own.
человек не
A person
способен
himself
принять
cannot
судьбы
accept
никогда.
the thrust of his fate.
Это возможно
It
только
is
с
only
помощью той
possible
силы, которая
with
исходит от
the
сферы
strength
души,
that comes
от
from
голоса
supersoul,
совести.
from the
Или
voice
ее
of your
называют
conscience. It
ангелом
is
хранителем,
otherwise called
или ее
a
называют
guardian
верой
angel
человека.
or
От веры
your
эта сила
faith.
приходит.
This
Вера
strength
означает
comes from
соединение
your
связи с
faith,
душой,
which
голосом
is
совести.
connection to the
Там
supersoul.
же находится победа, чувство
Victory
победы.
is also there.
Ура!
Hooray!
Есть
There are
разные
different
слоги,
syllables
которые соединяют
that
человека с
connect
сферой души.
us
Эти
to
слоги
the
являются
supersoul.
священными.
These
Одним
are
из таких
sacred
слогов является
syllables.
слог Ра.
One of them is Ra.
Он соединяется с
It
сферой
connects
душой.
us to the
Второй
supersoul.
слог Ом.
Another one is Om.
Соединяется с сферой душой. По-разному.
They do it in
Ра
different
означает
ways.
победа.
Ra means victory. Hooray!
Ура!
It's
Означает
connection to
связь
the
со сферой душой,
supersoul that
дающей
gives
победу.
victory.
Ом.
We
Означает
get
связь со сферой
enlightenment
душой,
or
дающая
knowledge.
просветление, знание. Да.
Syllable
Замечательное
Da means blessing.
Ма. Ма. Знаете, что такое ма?
Do you know what Ma is?
Ма. Ма.
Mother.
Знаете, что такое ма?
Do you know what Ma is? It is protection.
Мама.
Mother.
Означает защита.
It means
Помощь.
protection.
Да? Есть
And
божественные слоги.
there are divine syllables.
Ра. Означает
Ra means victory. Ma,
Ра. Ма.
Rama,
Защити.
protect
Дай
me,
победу в моих
give me
трудностях.
victory.
Защити. Ра. Да.
Ra, Da
Означает
means
даруй милость.
give me mercy.
Рада. Радость.
Rada,
Радость означает пришла.
Радость, joy. It means that we got mercy.
Также энергия радости воплощена.
And also the energy is joy is incarnated in the sun. When the sun shines, everything is awakened. Birds start to sing at sunrise. The sun is connected to God. Sunshine is a divine power, and in ancient times it was called Ra. Ra, dust, joy. Dust is to give. It literally means to give the sun. Oh sun, just look at the sun up high. Oh sun, it gives its warmth to you and me. Oh sun, give each other sunlight, and the earth will be brighter at once. There is external sun that shines in the sky, and it gives joy to trees and birds. And there is internal sun that means giving, giving joy. Joy is when you give something, you give love. Радость, joy. You give the sun from inside you. You are joyful, you give love. All these sounds connect us to the supersoul in different ways. There are different moods and there are prayers. People in ancient times knew it all,
Не знаем зачем.
and we shout hooray and do not know why.
Неважно.
It's important that it is there. Unless we shouted hooray, we would not have won.
Я начал свою
And so I started to pray.
Я хотел победы.
I wanted victory. I felt there was a problem. It all lasted a few seconds, but time stopped and stretched. That is also what the super soul does. It can stop or speed the time up. Sometimes time goes quickly and sometimes slowly.
Секунды часами длятся.
Seconds seem like hours. The super soul does it.
И потом раз,
And then suddenly my heart was calm. It was also the super soul. It told me to relax, it was fine.
когда они приехали, я
When they
естественно задал вопрос.
arrived, I naturally asked if they were fine. And my mother said, Oleg, I did not want to tell you, but on the way there was a big truck coming at us. We went to the ditch and we saw that the driver was not thinking, he was drunk or something. We missed the truck by millimeters and we fell into a small ravine. We landed on the four wheels somehow. We stopped and caught our breath. There were no scratches and the car was fine. We drove out of the ravine and continued our way.
Еще одну историю расскажу.
And here is another story.
Одна преподавательница, когда я учился в
When I studied at a medical university, there was one professor, and I studied ancient knowledge, and I had a small club. Even professors liked it.
она рассказала случай,
And this professor
что она
told me one story from her life. She saw in her dream her mother and heard, "My daughter, please help me, I am dying."
какой-то сон плохой.
And she thought that was a bad dream. She turned over. When she woke up, she went to the next room and her mother was dead. And she could not forgive herself. She suffered really badly. After that, she had stress. My question is, why did I overcome this situation and she didn't? She had no knowledge, and I had by that time. That was all the difference. And my question is, why did she have stress? That is our amount of work. And guilt is how we feel about this work. Oh, there's such a mess in the kitchen, and I have friends coming over. I feel like crying. Look here. There is no defeat in this world, but we do not know that. If that woman right now starts to pray, think of God, these efforts that give us victory, hurrah, hooray. Can a person do something against a grenade launcher that shoots at him? What can he do? He can only scream hooray. He can only ask for help from God, consciously or not. And if he just stands there, his body will be unmoving. A person cannot get rid of his fear. Fear is a natural desire to live. But if a person does his duties, then fear cannot immobilize him. Here is what happened to me in St. Petersburg. I was reading a lecture, and some man in black came into the hall and he walked towards me. I asked if he wanted something, and his eyes were stone-like. He said, "I know what I want." It's funny. But I wasn't
Он
laughing.
подошел и встал сзади
He
меня.
stood behind me.
Я по глазам
And just
людей,
like I
как
see
их
your
глаза,
eyes now,
я увидел
I
страх
saw
смерти.
fear
Зал
of death
пустовал.
in the
Было много
audience.
мужчин,
Everyone
никто не
were
двигался.
immobilized. There were many men, but no one moved.
Ну, то есть человек был настроен серьезно.
That person had very serious intentions.
И у меня опять заработала там внутри система.
And
То
again,
есть так как я
my
верю,
system started to work. As I believe in God,
я
I
настроился.
started to meditate.
Это опять секунды. Они
It
начали
only
двигаться.
took seconds, but they lasted long.
Все тело начало сковывать.
And my body was numb with cold, with that fear of death. It was hard to speak. My tongue was heavy.
И у меня вот здесь вот начала работать система.
And right here, the system started to work inside me. It told me, if you run now,
Все эти люди
all
разочаруются.
these people will be disappointed in both you and this knowledge.
И ты сам разочаруешься в себе. Ты потом
And you will be
никогда не сможешь
disappointed in yourself, and you won't be able to read lectures anymore, because you will always remember this situation and it will bother you. You will lose faith. It only took a second, but if you sit now and he kills you, then you will have performed your duty and you will be happy. It's your choice.
Я выбрал читать.
And I chose to read the lecture. I did not look back at him. It was useless. I would not have defeated him. I just read the lecture. He stood a little longer and he left. No one obstructed him when he came or left. He had authority to my fate. When death comes, no one can stop it.
Но страх — это всего лишь объем работы.
But fear is just the amount of work.
Болезнь — это всего лишь объем работы.
Illness is the amount of your work.
Надо понять одну только вещь.
There is only one thing to be understood.
Отделяло только
This
одно.
woman, this professor,
Не знала,
did
что
not
делать.
know what to do. That was the only difference.
Других проблем.
There were no other
И именно
problems,
это привело к
and
стрессу.
that caused her stress.
Стресс возникает, когда
Stress
человек
appears when
теряет
a
свою
person
жизнь,
loses
не
his
может
path in
жить,
life.
как раньше.
He can no longer live as he did before.
Объект своей любви,
He
своей
lost
цели
the
жизни.
object of his life,
И
the
вот
goal
цель
of his
попросту
life,
разрушена. Если
or
человек
the
неправильно
goal was
выбирает цель
destroyed.
своей жизни,
If a person chooses
то
his
получается
goal
стресс
wrong,
неизбежно.
that
Потому что цель
stress
жизни
comes
— это не
inevitably,
счастье,
because the goal of life is not
Ah.
happiness, but
просветление.
enlightenment.
Цель жизни —
The
это
goal of life
осознание
is to get to know
которое
yourself
потом приводит к
deeper,
счастью.
that later
Цель
gives
жизни
happiness.
— это работа над собой.
The goal of life is
Это не
self-improvement.
получение счастья дешевым
It is
способом,
not
а
getting
получение
cheap
счастья
happiness,
через труд.
but getting happiness
Называется
through
внутренняя жизнь.
self-improvement. That is called inner life.
И есть
There
два
are two
способа
ways
выбирать цель
to
жизни.
set your goal in
Один
life.
способ — это
One
на
way
основе
is
знания,
to
мудрого
do
знания
it based
выбирать цель
on
жизни. И
knowledge, wisdom,
учиться на эту
and you
цель,
focus your
стремиться к ней.
attention
Это
on
реальный
it, you
способ
strive for
выбирать
it.
высшую цель жизни. А второй
And
способ,
unless
если мы
we
так не
do it,
делаем, то
our
за нас
fate does
высшую
it
цель
for
выбирает
us.
судьба.
That is the second
Вот
way.
молодой человек влюбился,
A young man fell in love.
если девушка приносит ему счастье
If
выше, чем
the
всё
girl
остальное,
makes him
то
happy
она
above
становится
all
высшей
other,
целью
then
жизни.
she becomes
А что значит высшая
his
цель жизни?
highest goal of
Высшая цель
life.
жизни означает,
And
что она дороже
the
мне,
highest
моей
goal of
жизни.
life, that means that this
Вот мне
girl
жизнь
is
не
more
нужна,
precious
мне
than
нужна
life. I
она.
need my life no longer, I just need her. I wipe a tear from my cheek, and again I see your image, Madonna.
Я хочу быть с тобой.
I want to be with you.
хочу быть с
I
тобой.
want to be with you.
Я хочу быть с тобой. Я буду с тобой.
And I will.
Почему возникает стресс? Интересно.
Why does stress happen?
Сейчас я вам объясню.
Here is why.
Сверхдуша, главная ее функция.
The main function of the super soul is to give us happiness little by little, the one we are used to.
Это считает
And
главным.
most people think that is the most important thing.
Как у тебя все хорошо?
Hello, how are you doing? I'm fine. Thank God, me too.
Вот, то есть, когда сверхдуша
When the
посылает нам
super
капельку
soul
счастья
gives us a
сегодняшнего
little
дня,
happiness,
то мы
our
считаем,
daily
что
portion,
значит,
we
жизнь
think
течет правильно.
that our life goes right.
Но на самом деле
But
никакой жизни
actually,
в это время нет.
there is no
Веды
life at
говорят,
that
что
moment.
есть два типа
The Vedas
сна.
say that there are
Один
two
тип сна,
ways
когда человек
of
просто
being
спит,
asleep.
а другой тип
One
сна,
is when a
когда он
person
просто
is actually asleep, and the second one is when he goes with the flow and does nothing in his life.
Два
He
типа
wastes
сна у нас.
his life. There are
И
two
когда
ways to dream.
начинается жизнь, когда сверхдуша
And life starts when
хочет нам
the
помочь.
super soul
Она видит,
wants
что
to
жизнь
help
течет
us.
впустую,
It
зря.
sees that we waste our
Жизнь
life,
течет зря.
we live in vain,
Поэтому
and so
она выключает край.
it gives no more happiness.
И это внешне
And
сказывается на
it
каких-то
manifests
событиях,
in
конкретных
events in our
Причем
life.
каких событиях? Вот
What
там,
are
где я
these?
неправильно выбрал цель,
Where my goal
там
is
и
wrong,
будет стресс.
there is stress.
Если я целью жизни
If my
выбираю
goal
свое
of
тело,
life is
тело
my
станет
body,
больным.
then I
Если я
get
целью
ill.
жизни
If my
выбираю
goal
близкого человека,
is my spouse,
значит, он уходит от меня.
then he leaves me.
Кто из вас
Which ones of
прочувствовал
you
это в своей жизни,
felt
что
this in
не просто вас
your
полюбили,
life?
а
That you were not
человек
just
стал
loved,
зависим
but
от вас. Он
the
начал
person is dependent on
больным, он
you.
заболел вами.
He
То есть
is
он-
ill with you.
Ты что, без меня пойдешь в кино?
Are you going to the movies without me?
Ну, не смотри ты на них. меня теперь
Do not look at them, these men. I love you. Can't you see that? I am hurt when you do that. Do not speak to them
Я
gently.
тебя люблю,
I
понимаешь?
love you, don't you see?
Я повешусь, если ты
I'm
от меня
going to
уйдешь.
hang if you leave
Со
me.
мной останешься?
Will you stay with me?
Останешься?
Will you?
Останешься или останешься?
Will you or not? Will you?
Поднимите руку, кого
Raise your hands, those who have experienced this.
Что, какой результат?
What was the
Вы
result?
остались с этим человеком?
Did you stay with that
Шансов
person?
нет.
Zero
Шансов нет остаться с
chances.
человеком, который
There is
выбирает
no way
человека
you
целью
stay
своей
with the
жизни.
person who sees you as his
Только к
goal
Богу
of
так
life.
можно обращаться.
You can
Он может
only
отдать
address
назад.
God like
Человек
that.
не может.
He can
Если мать
reciprocate.
ребенка
If
целью
a mother
жизни своей
sees her
выбирает, он
child as the
наглеет,
goal
он
of
потом
life,
звереет,
he
начинает
becomes
их бить.
impudent.
Она мучается,
He
терпит.
can even beat her, and she
Меня одна
will
девушка
take
как бы
it.
помогала мне,
One girl
повозила
helped
после
me.
лекции,
She drove me
в
after
Иркутске сейчас
the
живет.
lectures
Она мне рассказывала,
in
у неё
Irkutsk,
знакомых
and she told me about people she knew.
сын
A son
выпивает,
is a drunk.
бьет мать,
He beats his mother,
издевается над ней,
abuses
забирает
her,
у нее все
takes
деньги,
away all her
а
money,
она
and
терпит
she
и
puts
ничего
up
не
with
может
it
сделать.
and can do
Знаете, в чем
nothing.
причина?
Do you know why?
Причина в том,
She
что она
sees him
поставила
as
его
the
выше
highest
целью
goal
своей
of her
жизни,
life.
только в этом случае человек ничего не
Only
может
in that
сделать. А
case,
ей надо
a
просто
person can do
пинка под
nothing,
зад, ему дай
and
мне
she
сказать.
just must kick
Я говорю,
out
тебе
her
весь мир.
son and say, I give the world to you.
И все, и он исправится
And that's
сам.
it.
Без
And he
проблем
will
ничего не
improve
нужно
on his
сделать,
own.
ничего не нужно
You
делать
do
для
not need
исправления,
much to
понимаете? Для
improve.
этого надо просто наказать
You
человека.
just need to
А если ты
punish
считаешь
a
его целью
person.
своей жизни, его
But if
наказать
you think
невозможно.
that he is your
Невозможно
goal,
просто.
then you
И
cannot
она живет в
punish.
стрессе. Почему?
And she lives
Потому
in
что
stress
ей надо
because
сдавать свои экзамены в
she needs
жизни.
to pass
Она
her
выше
exams
цели
in
жизни
life.
выбрала не
She
того.
picked the wrong
Не ту
highest goal in
личность.
life, the
Есть
wrong
высшая
personality.
личность, парам
There is
атма,
the
а
supreme
есть просто
personality,
личность,
Param
атма.
Atma,
Просто
and there is
личность не
just
может быть высшей
person.
целью жизни. Вижу тень
I
наискосок,
see your shadow
рыжий берег
on the
ползут
beach.
мило,
I am ready to kiss the sand
по которому
that you
ты ходила.
walked on.
Это надо
You
после
should
этих
kiss
людей
sand
целовать песок,
that saints
по
walked
которому они
on.
ходили. Шуба-дуба.
Do you see why stress happens? It is necessary. And the Vedas say that this is real life. And why do we suffer and do not want to live when stressed? Because we are misers. We want to constantly receive this beat of happiness and nothing more. I want to have happiness, happiness. We are misers. We do not want to work. And what is stress? These are conditions of God. This is His firm power. When a person is stressed, he can do nothing. He fails. Nothing works. It's like in an anecdote. There is a soldier in a military training unit, and he is given a crowbar to wipe the road. And he says, "Please give me a broom, I will do it faster and better." I do not need you to do it better, I need you to suffer. And this is what God wants when a person is in stress. Give me a normal man, give me something at all. I will be so nice. But God does not want you to be nice. He wants you to get detached from the man and get attached to something higher, to change your goal in life. And it cannot happen momentarily. A person can only quickly switch one worthless thing for another. There was one job, now there is another. There was one man, now there is another. And the person cannot think differently when he is in stress. And that is the reason he is stressed. Why am I ill? Because I am attached to my body. Once I am detached, I get cured. I can tell you about skin. Listen attentively, please. How does egoism work? It reveals as a pain in things we are focused on. And there is natural concentration that we have since birth, and there is an artificial one that destroys us. For example, female egoism is badly focused on the gross body, and so female body is extremely sensitive. That is natural. And culture explains that a woman needs a soft bed and gentle clothes. She must be touched very lightly, because that is the way her body works. And a man has egoism in his prana, mental energy. And culture says that in family it is very difficult for a woman to make her husband work, to do something. If he is inspired, he does it, but if he is forced, it is extremely hard for him. For example, she asks him, "Wash the floor," and he washes just the middle of the room. It is hard for him to wash every corner. He thinks differently. But if it is a hockey game, he has a very elaborate plan of how to play. That's interesting. It is different in women. For example, it is easy for her to serve. "Please help me cook," and she does, easily. Each person has his difficulties. For a man, it is easy. If he receives love, then he easily is generous. He can give anything. That is natural. What shall I give you? Maybe this sunrise. I have nothing impossible for you. What shall I give you, my dear person? How can I fate my fate for joining me with you? This is male force, inner generosity of love. And women naturally serve. But there is no natural generosity.
за свое служение,
she
она всегда,
always
естественно,
naturally
ждет
expects
награды.
reward for her service.
И поэтому один мужчина подошел
One
ко
man
мне и
approached
сказал,
me after a lecture and said,
а мне жена
Олег
не готовит,
Gennadievich, my wife does not cook for me. I asked why,
потому что
and
это
he
слишком
said,
дорого стоит.
because it is too costly for me.
Я готовлю себе сам.
I cook myself.
Женщины, понимаете,
Women
о чем я говорю?
understand what I am saying.
Так, видите,
Each
у каждого
person
человека
has
есть
his
особенности
peculiarities.
свои.
There is more
Где-то
egoism
эгоизма больше, где-то
in
меньше,
some
и это
places
естественно, это нормально,
and
так
less
устроен
in
мир.
another, and that is natural. That's the way the
поэтому
world works. And
всё
so,
хорошо. В
it
этом
is all
плане
fine.
нет проблем.
There is no problem. The
Если
problem is
женщина начинает
if a woman
очень сильно
starts
концентрироваться на
to
коже,
concentrate on skin badly,
там, где сосредоточена его
where her
красота,
beauty is,
целыми днями
and
думает о ней,
she thinks
то
about it
чувствительность
all days
кожи
long,
возрастает.
her skin
Чем
becomes
больше
extremely
концентрация
sensitive.
эгоистического внимания
The
на
more
чём-то,
there
тем
is
больше там
egoistic
чувствительность.
focus, the
Она
higher
мажет
the
кремом
sensitivity is.
лицо,
She
хочет
applies
быть
creams,
красивее.
she wants to
Этот
be
крем уже не
more
подходит,
beautiful,
надо еще другой
and
крем,
that cream
лучше,
does not suit her
лучше,
anymore.
лучше.
She needs a
Лицо
better
становится
and a better
чувствительным,
one.
оно начинает
The face is
покрываться
sensitive,
сыпью и так
it
далее.
gets covered with
Какой
rush,
проблемы?
and then there is illness.
Потому
Why
что
is
это
it?
была неправильная концентрация.
Because the focus was wrong perception of this world.
Если мужчина
If
очень
a man
сильно
is
эгоистично
very
настроен в
egoistic
отношении
in
своей
respect to his
энергии, он идет на
energy,
работу, и
he
там
needs
его
to go to
заставляют
work,
работать.
and he
И
is
он
forced to
сам
work.
когда работает, что с ним происходит?
When he does it,
Становится больным,
he gets
у него
ill.
отваливается
His
поясница,
spine
суставы
hurts
начинают
and
болеть, нервная
joints,
система не
his
такая,
nervous
понимаете?
system
Это тоже уже
suffers.
неправильно.
That is wrong.
Я сейчас никого не обвиняю.
I am
Я
not
просто
blaming
пытаюсь вам
anyone.
объяснить, как
I
работает
try to
система.
explain how
Что
the
система
system
нашей
works.
жизни работает так. Куда
Our
пошел
life works
эгоизм,
like this.
там и
Where
будет
there is
проблема.
egoism, there
Если
is
мы выбираем
problem.
неправильно цель своей
If
жизни,
the goal
мы
of
не
our
служить
life is
хотим,
wrong, we
и
do
цель
not
это
want
нашей
to
жизни, а хотим
serve,
наслаждаться
but
всем,
we
и
want
цель это
to
нашей
enjoy,
жизни, значит,
and that
будет
is our
стресс.
goal. Then there will be
И почему он
stress.
возникает, этот
And
стресс? Это
it
потому что
appears because
выключается краник вот
the
здесь.
tap of happiness
Кто
is
чувствовал,
turned
что
off?
сердце счастья
Who
выходит
felt
отсюда
that
между
happiness
сердцем?
comes from the heart, suddenly, from right here?
Все люди чувствовали, просто не все
Everyone did, but we are not all aware. Happiness comes out.
Любовь негаданно нагрянет,
Love comes so suddenly
совсем не ждёшь.
when you do not expect it at all,
Сразу
and
станет
each evening is suddenly
хорош,
so
и
amazing,
ты поёшь.
and you sing,
Сердце.
oh heart.
Оттуда выходит.
It comes from the heart.
Или не выходит.
Or it does not,
А не выходит означает стресс.
and that is stress.
Причем интересно знать, что даже для того,
It
чтобы
is
просто
interesting.
заснуть,
In order just to fall asleep,
нужно немножко счастья.
you
чуть-чуть.
need a bit happiness.
А если стресс вообще нету,
And if you are
тот
stressed,
не может заснуть.
there is no,
Не
and you
засыпает.
cannot fall asleep.
Не засыпает.
You
Нет счастья.
can't.
Кончилось.
No happiness.
Бабушка приходит к врачу.
An old lady comes to a doctor and says, I cannot urinate.
Доктор говорит, а сколько
And
вам
the doctor says, how old are you?
85.
85.
Бабушка кончилась. мать.
Well, you ran out of urine.
Всё, идите домой, кончилось. Примерно так же и стресс, понимаете?
It is similar with
Кончилось
stress.
счастье просто и всё.
We
Кончилось.
ran out of happiness, there is
А
no.
хочется.
But we want
Любому
it.
человеку хочется счастья.
Any
Счастье
person
невозможно.
wants happiness. It is
Но
impossible
есть
to
одна
live
проблема.
otherwise.
Проблема
But there is one
заключается в том,
problem,
что все
and
люди
it is
на
that
Земле
each
всегда
person on this
склонны
earth
жить одинаковой схемой.
wants
Мы
to
рождаемся
live
с этой
the
схемой.
same. We are
Схема
born
такая.
with this
Хочу
program.
счастья за так.
I want happiness for free.
Вот понимаете, если схема
Because
другая, вообще
if the
никакого
program
стресса
is
не будет.
different,
И
there is
стресс
no stress at
означает
all.
просто
And stress just
уломка
means
схемы
that
вот этой
the
внутренней,
program
как
is
жить.
broken, it is
У тебя всё хорошо?
changing.
Ну, слава Богу.
Are you fine? yes, thank God, thank God.
Дай Бог тебе, чтобы
God bless you so that you had happiness your whole life. No problems at all in your life.
Это наша схема,
This is
наша
our
схема.
program,
И цель жизни
and
человека в чём
the real
заключается? В том,
goal
чтобы
is
это
to
получилось.
change
Поэтому
it.
стресс — это уникальное
So
время в
stress
жизни
is
человека.
a unique
Уникальное,
time
потому что в
in
это время
your
он
life
по-настоящему живет.
because then
Вот
you
вся его
live for
жизнь
real.
именно для этого предназначена,
The
для
whole
того,
life
чтобы
is meant for
это время
this,
прожить.
to
Потому
go
что
through
вот эти
this,
2-3
because
года
these
стресса, они уже не
2 or
повторяются в
3
жизни
years of
потом.
stress do
Это
not repeat.
переключатель сработал, и
You
дальше
flip the switch
по-новому
and
человек
then you
живет.
live
Или не
differently.
сработал,
Or
и
you
дальше
don't
может быть
flip it and
психическая
then there
болезнь,
can be
хронические
mental or
заболевания,
chronic
длительная
diseases,
депрессия, всё что
long
угодно. Бог
depression,
не отступит.
anything, because God
Или
does not retreat.
сначала
First you
деньги,
pay,
потом
then you
стулья.
receive your
Понимаете,
goods.
вариантов нет.
There is
с
no
Богом и
bargaining
дальше.
with God.
Если человек
If a person
уже знает, что делать,
knows
вот,
what to do
допустим, у меня нет
already,
счастья внутри.
for example, I have no happiness inside me,
Это нормальное явление вообще.
that's normal.
Почему я должен из-за того, что
Why
стулья не поставили, страдать?
Should I
Это
suffer
просто объем
because there
работы,
was no
понимаете?
microphone
И всё.
stand? That is just the amount of work, that's it.
Хотелось же балдеть здесь.
But I wanted to enjoy
Лекцию
here.
читать
I
так,
wanted to
чтобы
read this
весело было.
lecture so that it was
Не всегда
funny,
так получается.
but it does not
Иногда
always work. Sometimes
по мозгам.
over the brain.
Бывает такое.
It happens.
Что делать? Ничего не сделаешь.
And there is nothing to do about it. That's life.
В этих
In
ситуациях
these
есть только один
situations,
выход.
there is only one
Если тебе
solution.
здесь не
If you
хватает
lack
счастья,
happiness inside,
значит, ты должен
then
с
you
помощью
should,
отношений с
with
высшими
help
силами,
of relationships
установить
with higher forces,
тот процесс,
establish
который
the
его
process
приносит сам
that brings happiness.
с помощью твоей
You
собственной
receive
воли,
happiness
твоими
with
собственными
your
усилиями.
willpower,
Не
with your
ожидая
effort.
твоих
You do not
усилий.
expect it,
Есть два способа
you
жить.
endeavor.
Это ждать счастья.
There are two ways to live,
Второй
either to
способ
expect happiness, and the second is to serve,
жить,
to live.
служить.
Жить, to live and to
Можно
serve.
просто жить, а можно
You can
служить.
just live or you can serve.
Чтобы служить, надо стресс пройти.
And to serve, you need to overcome your stress.
Никакого счастья. Я
I
хочу
want
дать
no
людям,
happiness.
другим.
I want to give it to others. I need no happiness.
Ни мужа, ни машины,
I
ни
do not
квартиры, ни
need
здоровья, ничего.
a husband or a car or health. I just want to
Когда человек
serve.
начинает так действовать,
When a
жить,
person acts like
а он не
this,
может сам по себе это сделать.
and he cannot
Вот
do it on
попробуйте
his
сейчас,
own.
хочу жить для других,
Try
хочу
it.
жить для других.
I
Невозможно,
want to
так?
live for
Нет сил.
others. It's
Почему?
impossible, you have no
Потому что
strength.
силы идут
Because
от Бога такие.
strength
Такого
comes from
типа
God.
силы у человека нет.
We do not have it
Этот тип
ourselves.
силы идет вот отсюда.
The strength comes from right here, from the
И
super
когда
soul.
человек по-разному, есть разные способы.
And
Можно
there are
молиться
different
святому
ways.
человеку, можно
You can pray
Богу
to
молиться,
a
можно
saint
думать
or
о
to
имени
God.
Бога, можно думать
You
о
can
Священном
think of the
Писании,
name of
читать,
God,
можно
or
ходить в святое
you can
место,
read
там,
a scripture. You can visit a holy place and bow down there. You can address holy relics. But the way is, I want to live for you. I want to live for you. I'm tired of thinking about myself. I am tired. I'm done. I had enough of this stress. I want to live for you. For you.
Вам легче стало сейчас?
Do you feel better now?
Видите, что происходит?
You see what
Потом
happens?
домой пойдете, опять будет
Once
плохо.
you come back home, you will
Потому что
feel
я сейчас
bad again,
вам
because
показал пример.
I now show you an example.
Видите, вы отвлеклись от себя, раз, сразу.
You got distracted from yourself and you felt
Стресс
better.
означает
Stress is when your life goes wrong.
это удивительное время.
It is amazing time that you must experience. On the last lecture, we will study stages of stress, but my today's goal is just to give you general concept,
Хорошо?
to open the topic to you.
И чтобы тема была ясна в целом,
And to make it so,
что
I would like to tell you that
У человека есть 5 чувств,
A person has
которые
5
соединяют
senses
его с миром, и эти
that
чувства
connect us to
могут
this
быть
world,
эгоистично настроены или
and they
служебны.
can be either egoistic or
Каждое
serving.
чувство имеет свою важную функцию.
Each sense
Например,
has
чувство
its
слуха связано с
important
разумом.
function.
Человек
For
через звук
example,
приходит
hearing is
знание.
connected to intelligence,
В разуме
and thus
находится
we
знание.
receive knowledge.
И знание
Knowledge
приходит
is
от
in
того, у кого оно
intelligence,
есть,
and
это
it
знание.
comes from the
Есть такой
person who has
классический
it.
пример с
There is
Махатмой
this
Ганди.
classic
Был
example
такой
of
великий человек,
Mahatma
который один
Gandhi.
победил целую
This
армию.
amazing man
Причем он с ней не
defeated
сражался.
whole English army without
Победил
fighting.
своим духом.
He defeated it with his inner spirit, his
Причем у
spiritual
него была
force.
такая сила, что он
And he
говорил,
was
просто
so
говорил.
powerful
Не по
that
телевизору,
he
а просто
spoke,
говорил
not on the TV.
людям.
He
И не на
spoke to
собрании
people,
большом, а просто тем,
and
которые находились
there were
рядом
not
с ним.
big
Он
gatherings. He
говорил,
just spoke to
завтра
people
всей
around him.
страной мы
He
не
said,
работаем, потому
tomorrow
что у
our
нас
whole
религиозный
country does
праздник.
not work because it is a religious
И
holiday.
дальше эти люди говорили
And
другим, и на
these
следующий
people
день ни
passed
один
this
индус не
message,
работал по
and on the
всей
following
Индии.
day,
Представьте себе,
not a
какая была у
single
него
Indian
сила.
person worked in the whole
Он говорил,
country.
мы не будем
Imagine this
покупать
power.
соль
He
у
said,
англичан.
we are not
Мы
going to
будем
buy salt
вымывать
from
ее
the Englishmen. We are
море
going to get it
и
from the
раздавать
sea
людям.
and
И
distribute to
солевой
people for
бизнес
free.
англичан накрывается.
And English
Потому
salt
что индусы
business
бедные
was
были, как они
crushed.
зарабатывают? С помощью
Indians were
простых продуктов
poor,
питания. Соль,
so
хлеб.
business was
Он говорит,
selling
мы не будем
bread and
покупать
salt.
одежду англичан.
He said,
Смотрите,
we
я
will
шью
not
себе
buy
одежду
clothes
сам.
from the
Все
Englishmen.
начинают по всей Индии
Look,
делать
I
так,
weave my
себе
own
маленькие,
clothes.
он показал, как это
And
делать.
everyone
И начинают
got
себе
weaving
ткать
looms
одежду,
and
одежду,
made their own clothes.
простую одежду.
Simple clothes.
В результате
And
другой еще вид
another
бизнеса
business
у
was
англичан
crushed.
падает. Они его
And
садят в тюрьму.
Mahatma Gandhi was arrested.
Он живет в тюрьме.
He lived in prison.
Они его не могут побить.
And they could not
Потому
beat
что если
him,
они его побьют,
because
то
if they did,
тогда в Индии жило 100
Indian
миллионов
population
человек.
was 100 million people, and an English army was just 10,000 people. They would have been destroyed.
Бить его нельзя было.
Mahatma
И убить
Gandhi
тем
could
более.
not have been beaten, let alone killed.
И наступил такой момент, когда он
And
говорит, вы
there
знаете,
came the
и
moment
они,
when
эти
he
люди, все
said,
время убеждались в его
these people
слове.
got
Если он что-то
convinced
говорит, он делал.
in
Он не
the
злился на англичан.
power
Он
of his
говорил,
word.
«Просто, пожалуйста,
He was
дайте
not
нам
mad
жить
at the
самостоятельно».
Englishmen.
Всё.
He just
Он
asked
злился
for
на англичан.
independent life.
И он, знаете,
He was
что
not mad at
произошло?
all.
Он
And
им
do you know
сказал,
what happened? He
«Вы
said,
просто дайте нам возможность жить самостоятельно.
just
А мы
let us
останемся
live
ваш бизнес
independently,
здесь.
and
Всё
we
у вас
will
будет
let your
так
business
развиваться,
be,
всё будет
you
хорошо.
will
Но мы
get
должны
development, but we must be independent.
свое слово.
And he kept
До
his
сих пор
word.
индусы и
The
англичане не
Indians
могут
and
подписать
Englishmen
соглашение
still
из-за
have
того, что
close
Махатма Ганди
business
сказал
relationships
свое слово. Я вам
because
приведу примеры
Mahatma
из его жизни
Gandhi
для того, чтобы вы поняли,
has kept
как
his word.
действует разум и
This
звук.
is an example of
К нему
how
подошла одна женщина,
intelligence and
немного
sound
подходили
works.
простые люди, говорят, у меня
Simple
ребенок
people
болеет сахарным
approached him
диабетом,
much, and one woman
и я не
said,
могу отучить его
my son
есть
has
сладкое.
diabetes and I
Он
cannot make
повышает
him
сахар, он
stop
сильно
eating
страдает.
sugar,
Помогите.
and he feels bad. Please help me.
Познакомился с
Mahatma
ней, с
Gandhi
ребенком.
got acquainted with her son,
Через неделю приходите
and
ко мне.
he told to come back in a
Они
week.
пришли через неделю, он погладил
They
мальчика
did.
по голове и с
He
любовью
patted
сказал
the
ему,
boy on the
«Не
head
ешь
and
сахар».
said with love, do not
Он
eat
перестал есть
sugar.
сахар.
And the boy
Когда
stopped.
мать подошла к нему,
And
говорит,
the
«Я
mother
то же
said,
самое
I've
говорю
been telling
1000
him
раз.
this
Почему ты
1,000
сказал один
times.
раз,
Why
я не
did
ем?»
it
Он
work?
говорит, потому что я всю неделю не ел
Because
сахар.
I haven't eaten sugar the whole week.
И когда я ему сказал, через звук, вот эта моя
And
сила,
when he said this
аскеза
force,
вот этой моей, не
this
есть сахар,
austerity
передалась.
passed on
И он
to the
перестал
boy.
есть, потому что у него сила появилась.
The boy received that inner
Поняли, что
strength.
такое звук?
Do you understand
Звук —
what
это
sound
сила,
is?
меняющая жизнь.
It is the force that changes your life.
Дальше, тактильное чувство — это
Haptic
тоже сила,
sense is also powerful.
которая дает
It
человеку
either gives
облегчение
relief
жизни
in life or tension.
напряжение. Если человек
If a
каждый день
person
омовение делает,
takes
под душем,
ablutions
то он
daily,
каждый
he
день
takes
снимает с себя
a
напряжение.
shower, he
А
relieves
если
his
он не моется,
tension.
значит, он не
And
снимает.
if he does
Будет
not wash,
накапливать усталость,
he
тяжесть жизни.
gets
Если человек носит
tension
чистую
and
одежду, ему легко жить.
weariness.
Если носит грязную, тяжело.
If you wear
Если
clean clothes, it is easy to
человек
live. If it's dirty, it is hard.
с грязью в
If a
квартире, с
person
тараканами,
has dirt in
мышами,
his apartment, there are cockroaches and mice, there is stench, then it is hard for him to live. But if it's clean, then life is easy. If he has sex with his wife, then life is easy. And if he has illicit relationships, it is hard to live. Haptic sense makes your life either clean or dirty. The next is vision. Vision is connected to our mind. Eyes show our mind, and we can see stress in the eyes. They become heavy, immobilized, and there is suffering in them. These are signs of stress. This is the state of mind. All the subtle body of mind is shown in our life. Psyche and mood, whether it is hard or easy to live. When people live a family life, how do they touch? They have connection between their minds. I'm going to tell you about it. And it shows in the eyes. You can look in the eyes and tell if it is easy for your spouse to live with you. Just look in the eyes. How he feels about you, what problems he has. The next sense is taste. It is unusual. It fills with power our psychical energy, mental energy, prana. You should eat tasty to be strong. But mental energy is spent on our life. And if a person lives wrong, then his tastes are also wrong. For example, if a person lives an angry life, he needs angry food, the ones that give energy of anger. And if he lives a kind life, then he needs more kindness. And there are rules, there are limits in bad habits, bad eating habits. You should eat food that gives you kindness. And the one who gives anger should be rejected. And then your habits change. Because you will have no power to do bad things. Our strength comes from our taste, and a person must study how to eat right, how to improve his habits. And smell is connected to the gross body. For example, if you want to eat right food, the one that suits you, first smell it. If you do not like the smell, don't eat it. That is not taste, I like or I dislike. It means there is strength in the food or there is no. When a person changes his habits, he has no strength, but he gets better character. But if you dislike the smell, you cannot eat this food. If food smells like fear, it is poisonous. If food smells disgusting, it is infected. Poison smells like fear. Infection smells disgusting. A cow knows it. If you cover its nose, it does not eat. You open it and it eats. The cow first smells, then eats. And we first eat, then smell. When it stinks. What is it? I ate something bad. When a person gets chronic heavy diseases, the first thing that changes is the body smell. And relatives are the first ones to register it. If you feel bad smell, you must immediately get observation. There is some heavy, incurable disease. its guarantee.
Для женщины очень важно жить в том
For a
месте,
woman,
где ей
it is
подходит.
important to live in a
Женщина
place
контролирует
that suits
территорию.
her. Women control
Мужчина
the
контролирует
territory.
женщину, а женщина территорию.
A man controls his wife, and the wife controls the territory,
И важно, чтобы ей
home.
нравилось там, где она живет.
and she must like everything
Не может
where
жить
she
там, где
lives.
не нравится.
She cannot live in a bad place.
Поэтому, если вы куда-то переезжаете,
So if you move,
супер.
even if it's some great real
Новое,
estate,
старое, хорошее,
new
плохое,
or
имеет
old,
значение.
good or
Созовите
bad,
свет,
it does not
выводите
matter.
семья из комнаты.
Leave women alone in the room
И нюхайте,
and let them smell.
дышите, нюхайте.
Let them breathe.
Запах не нравится, не
You
живите.
dislike the smell, do not live there.
Хоть
You will be
хорошее, хоть
unhappy,
плохое, не имеет
be
значения.
that good or bad apartment.
В новой квартире может запах не нравиться.
You can dislike smell in a new apartment. I had this method of testing products. People who have no sense of smell at all can know if the product suits them. They cannot feel the smell, but they know if they like it or not. It is not smell, it is the sense. Senses are subtle, they are connected to our mind, our psyche. When a woman smells, she meditates on how this place suits her. She smells and checks compatibility. Similarly, there is psychological compatibility and bodily. If you dislike the smell, there is no bodily compatibility.
Теперь поняла, заулыбал.
So now you got it. You smile now.
Все, движемся вперед.
Let's move on.
Спасибо вам. Видите, я такой.
Thank you.
Да, все время смеюсь над всем.
You see, I'm a bit angry. I laugh at everyone.
Потому что я считаю себя очень умным.
It is because I think I'm too smart. It's my pride.
Итак,
So,
все эти чувства очень нужны
these
человеку.
example are
И
extremely
они имеют два
important,
способа действовать.
and they have
Один
two
способ
ways of
мне,
functioning.
мне.
The first one is
Второй дарить,
to me,
дарить,
to me, to
дарить.
me, and the second
Взгляд
one,
можно дарить,
give, give, give.
можно требовать.
You can either give your look or you
Звук
can
можно
demand
дарить,
it.
можно
You can
требовать.
give sound or demand it,
И так далее.
etc.
Понимаете, да?
When a
Когда
person
человек настроен все чувства
wants to
отдавать
serve with
позитивным
his
чувствам,
senses,
можно
you can
улыбаться
smile with
самодовольно.
self-satisfaction.
Здравствуйте, рад
Hello,
вас
I'm
всех
so
видеть.
happy to see you all. You
Самодовольно
are
можно
full with
улыбаться,
yourself,
а можно дарить.
and you can give
Улыбку дарить.
your look,
Это
your
разные
smile.
совершенно настроения, состояния.
These moods
Когда
are
человек
completely
дарит,
different.
он
When a
служит.
person gives, he serves.
Когда берет,
When he
он
takes,
пользуется.
he uses.
Ложное эго, истинное
False
эго.
and true egos in
Истинное эго
action.
питается божественной
True
силой.
ego gets energy from divine
человека.
source, from
Ложное
faith,
эго питается
and false ego gets
его
energy
желанием
from desire of
счастья,
happiness.
демонической силой.
It's demonic.
Желание быть счастливым демонической
Your
силой.
desire to be
Желание
happy
служить
is
божественной.
demonic, and your desire to serve is divine.
И когда человек
And
страдает, вот
when
смотрите,
a
в чем
person
экзамен
suffers,
сейчас? Ну, вроде всё
what
понял,
is
сейчас
the
будем делать правильно,
challenge,
всё
the
классно, всё
test?
закончится. Проблема,
It
знаете,
looks like I'm going to do
заключается в том, что
everything
когда
right and
больно,
my stress will
очень
be
трудно
over.
думать о других.
But the problem is that when you are hurt, it is hard to think of others. Why do people fight?
И человек из-за
One
боли
person
теряет
says
возможность
something,
служить.
and
Он
the
начинает
other
защищать себя и кричать.
starts to protect. Because of pain,
Потом тот
he
кричит, ему
cannot
тоже
do
больно
right.
стало. И так
And then the first
они не
person
могут
screams
успокоиться и
back,
простить
and they
друг друга.
cannot forgive each other.
Что делать?
What is there to do?
Служить невозможно, нет сил.
It is impossible
Поэтому
to
время
serve, you
приходит.
have no strength.
Существуют
In
правила.
ancient culture, there
Нужно
were rules.
Настроиться
You
на
should
тот объект,
meditate
который
on the
всегда
object
служит.
that always
Ты
serves,
станешь таким же.
and you will become the same.
Воля
will or ability to do something, inspiration, enthusiasm are passed from one person to another or from one spiritual object to another. That is why people pray. And you must believe to get this mood. Without it, you cannot live. If you have no strength to serve, you won't be able to overcome your stress. And then you will be more and more sick and your life will fade. The only way what to do, you must forget about all your business, you sit down in the morning. If you have no faith yet, then you wish everyone happiness. I wish everyone happiness. But if you have faith, then you chant a prayer in your faith. The Vedas call it Shanti mantras. Shanti means peace. What do the Ukrainians and Russians lack now? They lack love. That is all. Lack of peace. Because in peace all problems can be resolved. Peace is the only thing that is lacking. And in order to get more peace, people gathered together and chanted these mantras. And people of different religions gathered. People have intimate relationships with God in their own faith. You cannot chant different prayers at once. That is very intimate. And these mantras and prayer is the same thing. But the mantras meant for peace unite all people. I'm going to chant one for you. I wish everyone happiness. I wish everyone peace. Let everyone have fortune in life. Let everything be well. Let no one suffer. Let no one be ill. These are the mantras. They resurrect your heart because saints like them very much. Do you know what holiness is? It is when a person shines with happiness. Holiness does not mean he is like a bulb, either brighter or less. Holiness is happiness. It is the energy of happiness. And there is different happiness. For example, a baby's body shines with happiness of youth, and a beautiful woman's body shines with happiness of love. And a saint's body shines with happiness of relationships with God, happiness of wisdom and victory over fate. These are different types of happiness. The first ones give material happiness, just enjoyment. And happiness of a sage is not about enjoyment. It gives strength to serve. This is what we lack. And when we are filled with this force, happiness comes naturally in our life. When you serve, you get gratitude back. Gratitude comes, and it gives happiness immediately. Be you stressed or not, is of no importance. And can a person be ungrateful if you serve him sincerely? You think he can? You are mistaken. It's impossible. There is no protection from gratitude. He may not show it, but if you serve really selflessly, it is impossible to be ungrateful. For that reason, holiness was checked like this. A saint proved his holiness by sitting next to a snake that was irritated and ready to kill anyone. Or he was seated next to a hungry tiger. And do you think saints were beaten? As this desire to serve emanated from saints and filled hearts with joy, the snake was pacified and the tiger became a cat. You see
Реально
that?
происходили такие
It
вещи.
is real.
Святость означает
Holiness
мир вокруг
means
распространяется. Веды описывают,
peace
что когда
around.
в лесу святой
The Vedas say
человек
that
раньше
when a
леса
saint
были
lived
святыми,
in a wood,
то вокруг признак
then
того, что святой человек
the
живет в
sign
лесу.
of it is
В этом месте никто
no
никого
one
не
was
убивает,
killed in that
волки не
place.
загрызают оленей
Wolves did
там и
not
так далее,
eat
понимаете?
deers.
Все рядом ходят,
There was
и
peace
вокруг мир,
all around.
шанти, мир
Shanti.
вокруг. Они питаются, несомненно,
Surely they
Бог дает
eat.
пищу всем.
God gives food to
По-другому
everyone, but in a
В
different
этом
place.
месте все в мире живут.
In that place there was
Просто поймите
peace.
такую вещь. Волки, кстати,
Wolves can eat without meat,
так же, как собаки тоже.
just like dogs and cats. That is not problem. I know this from experience.
Так вот, вот эта энергия,
This
дающая
energy
возможность
that
всем
gives
успокоиться,
ability
эта энергия
to
идет от Бога.
pacify
Человек не
comes from
потеряет.
God. A person does
Почему
not
святой
have
человек
it.
обладает такой
And
энергией?
why do
Потому что
saints
он
have it?
думает постоянно
Because
о том, чтобы служить
they
Богу.
always
И
think
его
about serving
настроение
God,
святого человека
and
—
their
жить для
mood
других,
is
жить
to
для
live
других,
for
жить для других.
others.
У него нет других
There are
желаний.
no other desires in
Он
life.
хочет, чтобы все были счастливы.
He wants everyone to be happy.
Так вот, сейчас у нас уже
So,
не осталось времени.
Now we have no
Должны
time
закончить.
left.
Правильно, да?
We must finish now.
Да. И мы сейчас будем тренироваться.
And we are going to
Мы
practice now.
сейчас сядем все прямо.
Everyone sit straight.
И мы сейчас
And
будем
we're
повторять
going
«Я желаю
to
всем счастья»
chant,
по-русски.
I wish everyone happiness.
Шанти мантру.
In Russian, we're not going to chant the Shanti mantra.
Но
It is incomprehensive.
у меня нет счастья, понимаете? Нет
But
у меня
I have no
никакого
happiness.
счастья. Я нуждающийся.
I
Я
need
без
it.
воздуха не могу жить, без
I
воды не
cannot
могу
live
жить. Если
without
меня не
air
кормить, я
or
тоже
water.
помру.
If I
Я
have no
постоянно
food, I
нуждаюсь.
die.
Я не могу
I am
сказать, что я
always
прямо
in
могу
need.
что-то
I
излучать.
cannot say that I emanate
Мне нужно
something.
все время.
I need
Но
everything
если
all the
я
time.
вспоминаю святость,
But if
то
I
каждый
remember
по-своему.
holiness,
Вспомните
each
то,
one
что
does
вам
it in his
помогло в
way.
жизни.
Remember what
И это
helped
от
you
Бога
in
шло.
life. And it came
Может
from
быть,
God.
это святая икона,
It
может
may
быть,
be
какое-то
a
имя
sacred
Бога.
icon
Допустим,
or a
мусульмане
name of God.
поклоняются имени Бога.
For example, the
Даже
Muslims
просто написано
worship
имени Бога.
the name
Или,
of
может быть,
God,
это священное
a written
книга,
one,
может быть, это
or it
святое
can be
место,
a
может
scripture
быть, это
or a
святая
holy
вода.
place or holy water.
Я разок из Самары ехал домой в Тольятти.
Once I was coming from Samara to Tolyatti to visit my parents,
Хотят любви,
and parents want
они
love,
забирают силу.
and they
Старенькие
take
родители
strength from
забирают
you.
силу.
Old
И
people
я,
do
когда
it.
поехал домой, назад на лекцию
And
в
when I
Самару,
was coming
я
back
понял,
to
что у меня нет
Samara
сил
for the
лекцию читать.
lecture,
Мне не было сил.
I
Я
understood
отдался
I had no
родителям, у меня
strength.
было
I
сил,
gave
я
it
не
all
знал,
to
что
my
делать.
parents. I did
И
not know what
мне
to
ребята
do.
говорят: слушай,
And
здесь есть
my
святой
guys told
источник.
me that there
Давайте
was a
заедем.
holy
Я говорю:
well.
давайте заедем.
I agreed to
Я не
visit it.
православный,
I am not a
но
Christian,
святой источник,
but a
святой
holy well
источник,
is
верующие
a
люди,
holy well,
верующие люди.
and
То
believers
есть
are
везде
believers.
одно и то же,
It
понимаете?
is
Я
all
приехал
the same.
туда, там
I
смотрел
came
вот
there,
эти люди,
I saw all these people, very pure and light. They
я
prayed.
взял, как бы они мне дали шорты, оделся,
I got
и
swimming
начал вот
shorts
эту ледяную
and
воду
I
окунаться, и смотрю, там
dipped
икона
into the
православная.
cold water, and above there was a Christian icon.
Начал
I
раскаиваться
was
в своих плохих делах,
repentant
поступках.
of all my
Несколько
bad
раз
deeds.
помылся,
I
сел в
took a
машину,
few dips.
приехал на лекцию.
I got back in the car. I came to the lecture and see the effect. I'm going to
Мне было плохо
do
до
it
лекции.
again.
Когда
I
я
felt
омылся,
really bad
я
before,
почувствовал
but
свежесть и
after
счастье.
taking ablution,
сейчас
I felt fresh
я
and happy.
вспоминаю,
And now
как я омывался.
I remember
Я
the
тогда на
way
лекции
I took
сказал,
ablution.
я
I
когда
told
в этом
about that
источнике
in
омылся,
the lecture in Samara.
то у меня
After
внутри
ablution,
появилась
inside me
легкость,
there was
чистота,
lightness and
благодать
purity
Божья.
and grace.
Я сейчас об этом говорю.
I am telling it now.
Легкость,
Can you feel it?
благодать
Lightness,
Божья.
purity, grace.
Это мое?
Is it mine?
Нет.
No,
Нет.
no.
Это принадлежит Богу.
It belongs to God.
Точно так же мы сейчас
Similarly,
делаем с вами. Вот то же
we are
самое
going
сейчас
to act
делаем.
now.
Вспомните
Remember
то, что
what gave you relief in life, something divine. It may be an icon or a saint. Maybe it's someone who lived a long time ago, but you still have connection. And when you feel these effects, you say, I wish everyone happiness. And even if you don't feel it, still pronounce it, because sooner or later you're going to feel it if you practice. The point is that if after receiving happiness, the person starts to think about himself, happiness leaves. The Vedas explain that happiness is an unusual force. It is the energy of God. When a person is happy and he gives it to others, then happiness chases him. But when the person is happy and takes it for himself, happiness leaves. Remember holiness and give it away immediately. This is what we're going to do. All together chant, I wish everyone happiness. I wish everyone happiness.
Я желаю всем счастья. 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 Я желаю счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Всем счастья. Я желаю 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 всем
счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Всем счастья. Я желаю 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 всем счастья. Я желаю. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья.
Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья. Я желаю всем счастья.
Спасибо вам.
Thank you very much to all of you.
Счастье,
I wish you happiness,
знание,
love,
удачи.
knowledge,
Все
and
самое
fortune.
светлое в вашей жизни.
All the brightest things in life. I am very grateful to you for being with me all this time. Thank you.